actually Anna. That makes me so uncomfortable.
Okay, guys, let's talk about Game of Thrones.
All right, we are continuing.
So,
a million years ago, we were talking about Eddard.
Eddard 13, the chapter we're in case you forgot.
Well, let's just really quick, welcome to book club.
Hello.
We had a bunch of shitty stream issues today, so we're going to start right here, right now.
Yes.
On this chapter.
Eddard's chapter where Robert is dying. Then he goes and talks to Renly on a bridge and talks to Littlefinger.
Luckily,
is solar.
Luckily, we didn't get very far when we started talking about it last time. So, should we just start over?
We were debating when Cersei starts having sex with Lancel. We weren't sure.
Yeah.
I'm with Chelsea that it's
already
super early. Already.
I don't know. I think it's when Jaime gets captured.
Yeah.
But I can't. I want to say it's because she loves him too much to do that right away. But I don't know if she loves him like that.
I don't. I think he loves her like that, where he wouldn't sleep with somebody else. I don't think that she does.
Well, yeah, he's never slept with anyone else.
Moving on.
Yes. So I really like page 504. When Ned is considering telling Robert about Joffrey, and he says that he could not hurt him more because obviously Robert is dying. And I'm wondering, is it noble, is it merciful to let Robert die without knowing about Cersei's treachery and without knowing about what he thinks of his own children?
I don't know. It's so hard to say. This is definitely something where even watching the show, it's like, dude, just tell him. Just get it out and get it on record.
But then, what does that do?
I mean, then, Robert would call for Cersei's head. I think he'd be like, kill her while I'm still alive.
Yeah. And you think Ned still wants to avoid that?
I don't know, because the whole thing that we see that happens is that he writes the letter, and then they don't care about the letter. If he knew that they were not his rightful children, I think he would call people in and tell them face to face, and that
I think he
would hold.
Kill the kids.
Yeah, or something.
That's what Ned wants to avoid is the death of Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen.
Well, I don't know, because right before that he says, only a child, you were right, talking about Daenerys and expressing regret for sending her. But I don't know if Robert is really...
No, it's because now he doesn't have to deal with it anymore.
But it's not, sure, Daenerys, but that's not treachery to him explicitly. This is Cersei not only, cheated on him the whole time they were married, but had children that are not his that have been raised to be his.
Yeah.
And in a way, Cersei is acting as a new usurper, the way that, Robert is the usurper.
Ooh.
So it's...
I had that thought. Just everyone getting riled up about, the king's kids aren't his and they're not the rightful heir, but, neither was Robert, really.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It all, none of it really is real. Neither is Aegon, technically.
Yeah.
It all starts somewhere. It's not like it's...
And I really like on this page, I don't know where it is, but Ned... I think it's Ned's thoughts, and he says, the lies we tell for love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's such a good callback to Jaime.
Yeah, the things we do for love.
Yep.
I think... Oh, go ahead.
Also to his promise to Lyanna.
Yeah.
He's telling a lie for love.
I think it goes along with the 3 white cloaks that you point out earlier. This whole situation is just like an echo of Lyanna. You have someone that he really loves dying and making him promise things to him, and
and he says, "I shall guard your children as if they were my own." He's making the same promise.
The exact same promise.
To someone.
That's exactly what
it's the same exact thing.
And the words twist in his belly like a knife.
He's also agreeing to guard bastards.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that what he's really thinking of, is the bastards, and not so much Joffrey and
exactly,
Tommen and Myrcella.
Yeah, in his mind he's thinking Gendry and
Maya Stone.
Yes.
Bara.
Or all those people, yeah.
All of them.
But yeah, just...
But at the same time, he still wants to protect Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen.
Enough
to
an
have extent.
Them not killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't want to raise them like his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't actually see Robert die on page.
No.
That pieces out before that.
I do like when he runs into Renly, and
Yep.
he might have been Robert's ghost as he stood there young and dark and handsome.
I love all the reminders that Renly is basically mini Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
How do we feel about Renly's plan? Because I remember the
Ooh.
first time I read this, I felt like throwing my book across the
I
room.
wrote that question.
Yeah, because I was so annoyed at Ned.
for not going along
Yeah,
with Renly.
Ned. This is when Ned really, I mean, he fucks up
Yeah.
a lot, but this is like.
Well, this is classic.
this
Ned.
is-
What could he have realistically done differently? Like, he's still
Oh.
trying to do things the right way.
He should have
But-
told everyone.
And had he gone along with Renly's plan, they definitely would have succeeded, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what I think a couple weeks ago I said, like, Ned, I think the way for Ned, I mean, I don't want to say to win, but I think the smart thing for him to do would be to unite the Baratheon brothers.
That's not going to happen, though.
But at least have them not fighting each other.
That's not going to happen, though. As long as Renly's claiming the crown.
I think he doesn't take Renly's advice because Stannis would be the heir, and he can't put Renly in a position of power if he wants to do the right thing and follow like the rules of succession.
Neither
that's
Was
probably
that
why
part
he
of
turns
Renly's
Renly down.
Renly's terms? Is he like, I'm there, or like?
Well, he's like, Stannis is a, well, I don't know if this is in the book. I just watched this episode, and he says, Stannis is a great warrior. Do you still think that great warriors make great kings? Like,
comparing
he's
him
not,
to Robert?
Yeah, he's not loved by people, but I could be.
Yeah.
So-
I feel like there was something about like
But
Renly.
Well, I feel like even here, Renly's not saying to Ned, make me king. He's saying, seize the kids and the council will confirm you as Lord Protector. He's saying for Ned to take
What
control.
page is that on?
This is at the bottom of 508.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's a very brief conversation between them. But I really like the setting. They're on this bridge. There's moonlight silvering the cruel edges of the spikes that line its bed. I just love this like midnight meeting between them and Renly really trying to.
Yeah, so Renly's not saying he's like declaring himself the heir. So I don't think
That'll
that's
come later.
exactly. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is like,
Okay.
if I were Ned, I would have tried to get the Baratheon brothers to work together. Which, yeah, easier said than done. But
He should have just taken the kids. Like he should have
Yeah.
he should have taken Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen into his protection. No matter what Cersei does, like no matter what happened to Cersei, whether she was sentenced to death, whether she ran off to Essos, like whatever happened, he probably should have just taken the kids. Because
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see him not wanting the kids killed, but he's complaining dragging frightened children from their beds is wrong. But like, drag them from their beds and put them in protection, Ed. Like, that's
Yeah.
a good way to protect them.
isn't that how the Targaryen kids, weren't they dragged from their beds?
Yeah, and also later the Lannister hostages under Robb.
that's right.
Again, apologies for my voice. It's really dead. Emily Strong said Renly didn't ask for Ned to back him as king, unlike in the show. So in the show, Renly's like,
He's like, make me the king. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so it's
that's a
different.
big difference. And so
It's
yeah,
really
that's more
interesting.
frustrating with book Ned
Yeah,
not doing
it's like
this.
just
For sure.
do it.
Because show, I can understand. Like,
You know,
Renly,
he's a little
cool your
shit.
jets.
Yeah.
And I mean, show Renly is less kingly anyway.
Very
Man,
much.
I wish Show Renly came across like
Young
book
Robert.
Renly, where
Yeah.
like this is Robert. Like you look at him and you see Robert
Yeah.
the way that he was when he took the throne. Like I wish the show did that.
And he's such a like sarcastic shit. Like earlier in this book, we get a lot of that, and we get a lot more Renly in Clash too.
Okay, so let's move forward. Let's get to Littlefinger. I wrote a note on page 511. This is Ned's reveal to Littlefinger. I think about the kids, about them being Cersei
And then he's
Jaime.
like,
And
it's
I'm
like,
Littlefinger definitely knew.
it's like that episode of Friends where Phoebe goes, "This is brand new information," but like obviously,
We know that. They know that. We know
No,
that.
yeah.
They know.
but like he so knows.
Yeah, shocking, he said in a
totally
tone that
knows.
suggested he was not shocked at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally knows.
Like, I love that.
And honestly, Littlefinger's plan here too isn't terrible.
Yeah, I wrote a note. What about his plan?
Yeah. It's not bad. But then the problem lies within trusting Littlefinger to keep up his end of the plan. But
So let's spell it out. What is Littlefinger's plan here?
So his plan is to accept Joffrey as king.
And just hang out.
Yeah, and like, you know, if he turns out to be a little shit,
Then
get rid of
Yeah.
him. But then that way you kind of
He basically says, let's not go Stannis because Stannis is going to bring in new people, and I don't want to lose my cushy position here
Right.
as Master of Coin.
Of course, but I think that his plan does have a flaw in that if you back Joffrey now and then he turns out to be a shit, and later you're like, oh, but really he's not actually the heir, I feel like that people aren't going to believe you. You know?
Yeah.
You kind of have to get that information out now, or else it looks that you're just making it up. You're just
It would-
fabricating it to get rid of
It
him.
would only work if Ned were the protector of the realm and could like maneuver everything while Joffrey is crown prince but not crowned. Like if he
You
could
mean, what would it be? King Regent? No. It wouldn't be Crown Prince.
or
be like the
before
underage
he's,
king.
before,
Yeah.
before he's
Yeah.
the only way that would work would be if Joffrey wasn't such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as we all know,
you would also need Ned to be able to
Joffrey's
politically
the
maneuver.
leader.
Yeah, and I guess the problem with that is you have Tywin. Tywin is honestly the biggest
And, like,
problem in
and
all of these
Cersei.
plans.
I mean,
Yeah.
this plan would only work also if Cersei were gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
but-
Cersei's at least there. Like they can kidnap her.
And she's predictable. Littlefinger
That's
can probably
true.
manipulate Cersei knowing
That's
how
true.
she behaves.
But
Later
Tywin
on-
is scary.
Yeah. Later on in the series, Littlefinger reveals like, oh, I knew Cersei would mess up the realm. I just didn't think she'd do it so fast.
Yeah.
Like he knows that he knows how she ticks.
I like Emily's. How is it a question if Joffrey is going to turn out to be a little shit? Like he already is.
He already is, yeah.
I like the description of Ned's voice as ice
Yes.
on this page. I love those references, and I have another point like way later in this set of readings that I'll bring up about being like ice.
Oh, okay.
And then on page 514, we've got Littlefinger talking about for the sake of the love I bear for Catelyn.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh, you asshole! How dare you?
I'll help you
What
out
love?
because I want to fuck your wife.
Yeah.
I feel like he pulls that a lot. Like to Sansa, to Ned, and it's like,
To Cersei
is this a
even.
compliment? Like,
He's so.
He's the best.
I do not like Littlefinger. He's an interesting character. Like I'm so fascinated by him as a character because I'm fascinated by like villains, but at the same time, God, he's the worst.
But I mean, like, I just love how he knows what Ned wants him to do, and so he mocks him because it's not honorable.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
But
good.
hey, you know what? He's a good guy. I ought to make you say it, but that would be cruel. So have no fear. I won't make you say it. That you want me to pay off the city guard.
Bribe them.
I just love that, like, these chapters from this reading this week are Ned trying to play the game, and it's just really pathetic. Like, even just the first instance of he feels all dirty when he alters Robert's will to read his heir instead of Joffrey, and he has such an internal crisis about it. Yeah, it's still technically correct.
Should we move on to John?
I think
yet?
I think the description of Stannis on 512 that Littlefinger gives is really important.
Okay.
It's something that comes up a lot throughout the series, and I've heard good arguments about how it's not quite fair that this common depiction of Stannis as iron, hard, and unyielding is not quite accurate because he does kind of change tactics and adapt due to political circumstances. But no doubt this is how the realm
you wanna read
views him
some
at
of
the
it?
very least. Sure, yeah, this is a fun passage with my messed up voice. Hear me out. Stannis is no friend of yours, nor of mine. Even his brothers can scarcely stomach him. The man is iron, hard, and unyielding. He'll give us a new hand and a new council for a certainty. No doubt he'll thank you for handing him the crown, but he won't love you for it, and his assent will mean war. Stannis cannot rest easy on the throne until Cersei and her bastards are dead. Do you think Lord Tywin will sit idly while his daughter's head is measured for a spike? Casterly Rock will rise, and not alone. Robert found it in him to pardon men who served King Aerys, so long as they did him fealty. Stannis is less forgiving. He will not have forgotten the siege of Storm's End, and the Lords Tyrell and Redwyne dare not. Every man who fought beneath the dragon banner or rose with Balon Greyjoy will have good cause to fear. Seat Stannis on the Iron Throne, and I promise you, the realm will bleed. So yeah, he's saying, what? Yeah, you like that?
I feel like that description of Stannis makes him sound so much like Tywin.
Interesting.
Or at least my picture of Tywin, which is based on like the show and the first book and what I've read on a wiki of Ice and Fire.
They're
Like
similar.
unforgiving
I think.
and sort of, I don't know.
They're both kind of like do what is necessary.
Yeah, but Stannis is definitely much more bound by a code,
For sure.
whereas Tywin is more guided by what behooves him the most.
Yeah, but then, I mean, and I don't want to talk
Stannis
too
would
much
do well
about
in the
Stannis,
north.
but like Stannis also adopts a completely new religion because he sees the advantage of it and just like starts burning people alive.
Yeah, it's so good.
You know?
I like Gunner's comment that Ned is like a first-time Clue player who doesn't get the rules but slowly gets them. He's
Yeah.
trying to be sneaky, but everyone else is way ahead of him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's so true, and that's
Ned?
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
also a little bit how I felt when we played Clue. I was like, I think I'm onto something, but like everybody else is really onto something, and what if everything in my head is wrong? Welcome back, Joel.
Joel's back in the chat.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, should we move on to John?
Liz, any thoughts on this chapter?
No.
No?
It's just frustrating. Ned's so bound by honor and doing what's right.
Oh, I love
And
it so much.
It is exhausting.
Yeah, it was endearing the first time I
It's
watched the
me.
series, but like, it's seriously so. Yeah, but it's you in America 2016. You
Yeah,
know?
you can still do what's right and like
Not
not be
die.
honorable. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
He's so
in this world, you can't live
awful
like that.
good.
Yeah.
he literally cannot survive.
Yeah.
If you play, obviously, like, come on.
And it's so frustrating, but I mean that's the whole point of Ned, is that's why George R. R. Martin wrote him like that, is to set him up as like, here's this classic hero, and
Yeah, that's
he's
not
dead
how this world
by the end of this book.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Ned
and
dies.
it's genius. I love it. That's like that, but it's very frustrating to read when he's your central POV. No other character in the series ever gets as much of a share of the.
Yeah, we're already
17
at
chapters.
13.
Yeah.
I love, a friend of mine did a parody video for Game of Thrones back on her old YouTube channel, but she's not on that channel anymore, and it was a character I used to know, and like one of their lines is like, I thought that Ned Stark was the main character because he's on the poster.
Yeah.
Dies.
That's what I thought watching the show. I was like, oh, this guy's going to be the new king. Cool.
Would Ned be willing to allow a war to start if it would put the proper heir on the throne? I think so.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be what's right.
But I think he doesn't want it to come to that, and that's why he doesn't push the issue the way that like maybe we would have wanted him to, with telling everybody and with like
Oh.
taking the kids into custody.
Sure,
like,
if he can avoid it, he can.
he's trying to
Yeah.
avoid it.
Okay.
Should
Do
we
you want to change it to John now?
Oh yeah, thank you. Good
Move
call.
on to John.
John?
This is the chapter where they join the Night's Watch.
Where they are promoted.
They're
Where
If
they're
you wanna
get
call
their
it that.
unpaid interns to
part-time
part-time
employees.
employees. Yeah.
And John is so mad.
God, this is just.
I
Okay,
like-
So I love the way that. Who is it at the beginning of the John chapter who's describing what it's like to join the Night's Watch? I think
Is it
I
Lord
did
Commander
mention-
Mormont?
Probably.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's sure.
The old bear.
The old bear.
A
Love
man of
the
the
honey.
Night's Watch lives his life for the realm, not for a king, not for a lord, nor the honor of this house or that house, neither for gold nor glory nor a woman's love, but for the realm and all the people in it. And all I could think about was Varys.
See, that's the thing though, because Joel has the same issue. Book Varys is not show Varys. Show Varys, I buy.
Show Varys I could see is actually caring about the realm, but
Varys in the books, but he says repeatedly that like what
Oh.
he's doing is for the realm, right?
He says it a
He
lot.
says it, yeah.
But
I think it's his very narrow scope of what the realm should be.
yeah.
And I don't think we fully understand yet.
As the series
Okay.
progresses, we're going to see a lot more maneuvering from Varys and Illyrio.
Yes.
Mapatis. Yeah.
But I like, for whatever reason, that description of for the realm and the insistence on the realm, it made me think of everything that Varys says and the way that his machinations work.
Varys, how do you think he would do on the wall?
Oh, he'd get killed.
Yeah, he'd be murdered
He'd be a
immediately.
steward.
He doesn't like have to want women, you know.
He'd be,
He
Sure.
could be faithful to the code.
he'd be a steward for sure.
Yeah. He would.
He'd be
I don't
like-
think he could go 2 days without a perfumed bath. by
That's so
the
true.
descriptions here. Also, apparently, I feel like there are a lot of drunk
Yeah.
Septons appear throughout the
Wait,
series.
really quick before
What's
we
up?
get too far away from Varys, because I had a thought while I was reading today. They always describe Varys as wearing a ton of perfume and stuff, and I think it's so when he wears disguises, you have another reason to like not think it's him.
Yeah.
That's a good
If
point.
he has such a distinct like lavender smell,
Yeah.
and you think he just always
It's like
smells
part of
that.
his Varys disguise.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a subconscious thing, I think.
Yeah, and like he's always powdered, so that would change his appearance as well.
Yeah, it probably changes how like his hands feel and stuff. Like it's
Oh yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cool. And back to John.
yeah.
Since Varys is not in this chapter.
I don't care. I love Varys. I don't give a fuck about the wall. I'm trying to care more about the wall, but I have a hard time.
I care about the
sometimes.
wall.
I care about John.
I care about
It's so
the
cold and
good
whiny.
people at the wall.
That's
There's
true.
Some good people. Like, I love
Like who?
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Well, Pip and Gren are nice too.
Yeah, they're fine.
I love the moment on page 517 when Sam says that he wants to take his vows at the Godswood, and he says the seven have never answered my prayers. Perhaps the old gods will.
Oh, so cute.
I'm just like,
So
Do
sad.
you think it's mostly so he can be with John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it, but we know that like he did not enjoy his home life really. So maybe it is a way of him saying like, I'm leaving behind everything that I was
Yeah.
and was expected to be, and I'm gonna try.
Yeah. It's like another way of just completely separating.
Yeah.
And it might be, maybe he's just thinking that it's like a way to rebel against Randall.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck you, Dad. Fine, I'll pray to these old guys.
Yeah.
Also with his best bro.
Yeah.
Screw
Yeah.
you, Dad.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with a bastard. We're praying to old gods.
Yeah.
I'm cool now,
Look at
Dad.
me now.
Rebel Sam.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to me that they allow their unpaid interns to leave before revealing the order that they would belong to. I think John would have left if he knew he'd be a steward. I think that if he knew that they were going to assign him to the stewards, he would have bounced.
Oh,
Wait,
that's a good.
do they?
They take
Yeah,
the
they-
oath.
they take the
before-
oath first.
Yeah.
Before they're assigned?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, no. Hey,
Wait.
can I see this? Can I see
there's
this?
John to the stewards.
Hang on. Yeah, but hang
okay.
on. When they say, are there any among you who wish to leave our company? If so,
Oh.
go now, and no one shall think the less of you. No one move.
Yeah, but they could still leave before taking the oath. That's just the like.
I think that's the time when they're like, if you're gonna go, get out. If you're not leaving now, you don't get to leave.
No, there's nothing in between that and
That's my
assigning him to the
subtext there.
stewards that
I-
would make him a deserter.
I think that if he had known before this moment when Lord Commander says, you can leave now and we won't think the less of you, if he had known here that they were going to assign him to stewards, I think he would have left.
I don't know.
Where would he go?
Yeah, where would
Yeah.
he go?
Back
He can't
to
go back to
Winterfell?
Winterfell with Catelyn.
It's not there right now.
Yeah, he does. I don't think he knows that.
Like-
Maybe, but
He does know
I-
because he knows that she has the imp.
But then, like,
My.
I mean, how does that make him look to everyone at Winterfell? You know?
Yeah,
Especially to
I think he's stuck.
I
don't think he would ever.
John understands me, Dad.
But yeah, he's obviously when he's assigned to the stewards, his greenness is revealed.
Yeah.
And I love that like Sam sees it. Sam knows what's going on
Sam,
and knows that he's going to be.
He's being
there's-
groomed.
But I actually wrote Anakin Snowwalker here because John is just sounding like prequel Anakin.
For sure.
I'm a better swordsman and a better rider than any of you. It's not fair.
you're so whiny.
He
Yeah.
also sounds like Sansa in the next chapter.
Can people
Ugh.
leave the Night's Watch before taking their vows? Yes.
Yeah.
Lord Commander says basically if you don't want to do this, you can leave and we won't think the less of you, but if you're going to stay...
That's bullshit.
I don't believe that, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone's talking shit about you after you leave. But yeah, you can leave.
But
You can leave and
I
not
love-
be killed for being a deserter, but
Exactly.
everyone's still gonna talk
You're
shit.
still gonna
Oh,
get
yeah,
mad
everything.
shit.
Or
They
like,
do.
but even like there are a lot of people up there who like they can't leave. They're up there. That's
Oh,
their
yeah, there's
punishment.
no way that
That's
they
you
can
know,
true.
it's like
Like John can.
it's
but-
kind of like an empty gesture for like.
But what if that was a loophole? If like you got caught like stealing and you're like, oh, I'll take the black, and then you get up there and you get to this point and you're like, actually no, I'm
I
not.
think
I don't want
you'd
to do
have to
this.
leave
You got out of your
Westeros.
community service.
You would have to leave Westeros.
Oh, for sure. You're heading
like,
to
you
those
couldn't
free
stay there
cities.
or else you're going to die.
That's true though. Did we just like find a loophole in the Night's Watch?
Right? I think I cracked
I think
the code.
it's who somebody in the chat, now it's gone, said that it's more of a like meaningless gesture to say that you could leave, and I think that's probably true. Like you could leave, but
It's like at a-
you're gonna die.
Like at
if
a
you do.
wedding,
Exactly.
speak now or forever hold your peace. But
Hey,
like,
I just realized we didn't get that option.
I know we didn't get the option to like say.
Oh, you're lucky, Gressel.
Were you gonna speak?
Oh yeah. I was like, yo.
That
this
only
is
happens in
bullshit.
movies.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like the guy finally going after the girl that he passed up on.
And ruining her life.
And rude.
Back
Yeah.
to-
Yeah.
back to
I like Sam says there's no shame in being a steward to John when John's being all pissed.
I think that's a defensive statement when John's being all pissy about the job that Sam has.
Yeah.
Sam's like, I'm a steward.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
like-
rude.
Not
Yeah.
only am I a steward, John, but like, reminder, Sam doesn't know this, but like, reminder, John argued for him to be a steward.
Yeah,
Like, He's
exactly.
gonna be the greatest steward. He can read, he can write, he can do all these things.
I like.
I want to be a steward.
I like what you guys were saying last week about if John hadn't gone to Master Aemon and said all those things about Sam, then he wouldn't have considered him to be a steward. Right? That's what you guys were saying last week.
You mean?
Or a couple weeks ago.
About,
'cause-
Maester Aemon wouldn't have
Assigned
considered
him,
John
yeah.
as a steward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure, he kind of like put himself in that position,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that how John we think is a very perceptive guy. I mean, one of the things is like, oh, he knows that Theon's a little shit when like Rob really likes him, and he seems to be aware of things, but he's too emotional and about this assignment to the stewards to recognize what Sam sees, that he's going to be trained as like the next Lord Commander. But also, I think Bowen Marsh sees it at the top of 519. Marsh turned his smile on John, and I think that's a sincere smile. That's like, oh, hey, man. Oh, hey, you got like steward for Lord Commander. That's great. And I bet John reads that as like an Alistair Thorne type
Probably.
sarcastic smile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he just responds, what will my duties be?
Yeah, and that's when Marsh like frowns at his tone because he's like, wait, why are you being a little shit like this?
I feel like this chapter really demonstrates how much John needs Sam. Because
Yeah.
Sam gets what's going on in a way that John just doesn't, because this is how Sam has lived his whole life. You know, just I mean, John was a fish out of water too, but like not to the extent that Sam was. You know?
Yeah.
So I think Sam has really learned how to read situations in a way that John hasn't.
And I liked what you were saying in the last book club that the stewards are the more feminine duties.
Yeah.
And he even calls it out here.
John is just being such a dick about it here.
Trim-
Oh
butter and
yeah.
sew doublets
So
like a
his
girl.
doublets.
Like a
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna do that, John. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Somebody's gotta
Yeah.
learn how to sew. It's a
Steward
good
sounds
tool.
like a great job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Chelsea would love to be a steward.
Yeah, well,
What
you get to
guys
be
are saying is-
warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the warmest job at the wall. So
Yeah.
why bitch about it? Just a little. I like to just point out things to remember for the future. Bottom of 518, Darian is sent to Eastwatch because he's gonna help Cotter Pike with like food and shit. Darian comes back way later down the line.
Oh
And
God, that's a long time from now.
I think that's in Dance with Dragons. So
That's-
Yeah.
How many books from now is that?
that's book 5. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Wow.
But he comes back and is kind of a important part, at least in one character's arc.
I like Carly says that John and Sansa are both similar in that they have fairy tale versions of the life they're living.
Yeah, we've brought that up before. I think Chelsea
Yeah.
has driven that.
Yeah, well, he even says it's not fair in this chapter, and Sansa says the exact same thing next
Oh,
chapter.
does she? I didn't notice that.
I think that I wrote that down too.
Yeah, they both.
I felt that.
Oh yeah, look, there it is.
Yeah.
Sounds says it's not fair. Sounds like John last chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I've got all my whole notes here.
I do like that John is ashamed when Sam explains the situation to him, and it's like that situation earlier when he was bitching to Benjen Stark about things, and in retrospect he was like, "Oh, I mistakenly pressed the issue," and here he's like, "You have the right of it. I was acting the boy," and acting the boy is a big thing in John. I think it's in the show as well, right? Maester Aemon tells him to
Kill the boy.
Kill the boy.
And let the man be born.
Yeah,
I think
something.
so. So I think this is the first time it's come up with John.
I like in this part, on this same page, on the wall, you grew up or you died. And that just makes me think of in the Game of Thrones.
You live or you die. Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt.
You grow up or
Yeah.
you die. Like, the only way to live is to grow.
I think in this world there's a lot of things where you either do them or die.
Yeah.
A little thing.
You bend the knee or you die.
A little thing I noticed that is a callback maybe to something from a long ass time ago.
Probably.
A thin crust of snow cracked beneath the hooves of their horses with a sound like breaking bones, and it reminded me of the ghost glass that the Dothraki believe in that will like cover the world and is like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And
Is
I remember
this in the
we
description of the haunted forest.
yes.
Yeah.
And I remember we were discussing that chapter and thinking ghost glass kind of sounds like snow or like icy glass because it's white.
Yeah.
And I
they
like,
turn
and this is
everything.
like north. I mean, this is like White Walker territory. I like the idea that like there's ghost glass up there.
Ghost
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah, I kept saying glass. Jesus, ghost grass.
I love this description of the forest. It's so spooky and like just sounds like death.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it is a
It's-
different world.
Isn't it called the haunted forest?
It's the
Yeah.
haunted
Yeah.
forest.
It's the
Subtle.
forbidden forest. You can't go in there.
Yeah.
Only for detention.
And there's like, wait, is this the chapter where they? Yeah, there's like 9 werewolves there.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Which is way more than he's ever seen.
weirwood trees are so cool.
There's also theories about the 9 werewood trees. I forget exactly what they are.
Oh,
But as
Jesus.
like 9 people from like the Age of Heroes having become werewood trees.
Oh, that's interesting.
I feel like I read about that theory and don't remember it at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories.
There's something
so.
about the number 9 and the repetition of 9.
In the books.
number 9.
I think
Number
so,
9?
but like
A fine
I haven't
number.
read the other.
A fine number.
Is there anything else we want to say about this John chapter?
Yeah.
I love that Ghost looks like the weirwood tree.
Yeah, I underlined
Yeah.
that. White fur and red eyes, like the trees.
Like the trees.
I love.
And then I also made a note. It's a question I have. So if not everyone knows about the White Walkers or the others, like people are like, oh, they've been gone. They don't believe in them. What do they think the wall is for?
Protecting them from the wildlings.
Wildlings.
Like that's it?
Yeah.
And whatever lives north of the wall.
Yeah, but the same people who disbelieve in the others probably don't believe in giants or
But they
ice
might believe in
spiders.
direwolves.
I
since
think
there's
part
a
of it
couple,
is
like-
also just it's always been this way kind of thing. Like we've just always had the watch.
They probably see it more as like less of like actually protecting the realm and more of like this is where like you're sent as a punishment,
Yeah.
you know.
But
Yeah.
so
Guantanamo Bay.
the knights of
God.
but but like the Night's Watch,
Mhm.
what do they think that they're protecting people from? Is just the wildlings?
Yeah, I think just wildlings.
And whatever like spooky stuff they come across.
Yeah.
If they come
I
across
just love
spooky
that
stuff.
as soon as they say their vows, Ghost runs up with a hand and they're
Yeah.
all like, fuck. Like, god damn it. They just immediately regret what they signed up for. Because we
Yeah.
like the spookiest omen. Like, that's the worst omen.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
This fucking hand.
And like it's black too, right? It's a black.
Yeah, it's
hand.
all like, I imagine it being like kind
Gnarly.
of like really like black with frostbite kind
Yeah.
of, like purpley black, gross, like, yeah.
And I always picture it sort of being like one of these like the fingers
like a
are
monkey's
not-
paw.
Like if you've broken your fingers and they're not in, it's not a hand that's just like I'm a hand, but like
Yeah.
a twisted up, like janky hand.
Yeah.
The air was colder than a tomb below the wall when they're going through the tunnel.
Oh, what's that, Crypts?
Oh yeah, doesn't he talk about the crypts?
Crypts, but also
that's
it's
in a
just
later
this is another
chapter.
one thing that I want to point out now that'll come in handy in a year when we reach Dance with Dragons. But below the wall they also store meat, and there I think that's mentioned later in a different chapter. But it's very cold there, enough to keep things.
Oh yeah. To
Yeah.
keep stuff really cold. Yeah.
Before we move
Sounds
on,
ominous.
you guys want to take the Night's Watch vow? You guys want to say the words?
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do
okay, I'll
we read?
it
Are we
too.
gonna read
Peer
it together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hear
Hear my words and bear witness to my vow. Night gathers and now my watch begins. It shall not end until my death. I shall take no wife, hold no lands, father no children. I shall wear no crowns and win no glory. I shall live and die at my post. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the walls. I am the fire that burns against the cold, the light that brings the dawn, the horn that wakes the sleepers, the shield that guards the realms of men. I pledge my life and honor to the Night's Watch for this night and all the nights to come.
Yeah, we did it.
We knelt as
knelt
boys,
as boys,
and now we
and
rise
now
as
we're
men.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're darn right, Sarah. I do not want to be on the wall.
Shit.
Well, I mean, I shall take no wife,
Yeah.
and I will not father
Father.
children.
That's
Yeah.
true. And we live in LA, so like maybe I won't own land because it's really expensive here. It's too damn expensive.
Sorry, Joel and Gressel, you guys don't get to be part of the Night's Watch.
Yeah, sorry, that was pretty cool.
Let's high five.
Yeah.
Bye.
Night's
did it.
Watch handshake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess Gressel is already married, so
Oh,
Ah.
Oh yeah.
good call, Paige.
do we have?
Oh, you're right. We did forget to show the sigil. I did get one, but we're on this new system. We're on a different computer.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. I think we're gonna not do a sigil this week because
Yeah,
of
we'll,
all the tech issues
yeah.
that we were.
There's too
Dealing with.
much bullshit this week.
We'll
Sorry.
bring it up next week.
Well, yeah, we got some really
Sorry,
cool new
guys.
ones, but just
Yeah. Joel is also.
Joel's in
Is
the
he on
sky
a
right now.
plane?
Yeah, Joel's in the
Joel's
sky.
like literally in the sky. He's flying here.
Yeah, and also, who really obeys the vows?
John.
They say father no
Balances.
children. Let's see, take no wife. They don't say I won't fuck.
Yeah, I guess if
It's
they
just,
are
like,
really good at
assumed.
contraception, they can
Yeah,
just like.
yeah. As long as you're pulling out successfully. But that's why they all go to Molestown, and
Yeah.
you know they don't kick anyone out for that. So you can fuck. All right, Eddard.
Do you want to do the case
Yes,
they're currently
thank
discussing?
you. Thank you.
Yes, Abigail, 3 women did take the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
You're the
I
first women in
I
the
was
Night's Watch.
on Reddit in one of the Game of Thrones or the Song of Ice and Fire, and somebody in there was like, "What would happen if, like, you came across a member of the Night's Watch as they were changing, and it turns out they're a woman?"
Oh, like a Mulan situation?
Yeah.
Oh, they probably get killed.
I don't know.
Would they?
I don't know about killed.
Banish them?
They would be banished. They wouldn't
Or would
be
they
allowed to
execute
stay
them?
as.
That's
What if
I thought
it
would
was-
just
What if,
execute
but like,
them.
what if they're
Brienne.
really good at their job?
Yeah, that's
Like
the thing.
Brienne.
Yeah.
No,
That's a good
that's a good
question.
question. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, we
girl
can't
worth
afford to get
fighting
rid of you.
for.
Even a bastard can rise up in the Night's Watch. What if this woman rises up really high and she's really important?
Yeah.
And then they find out she's a woman. And
What if
they're
she
like,
gets made
"Oh,
Lord Commander, and then she's like, "Now we're going to join the Night's Watch."
the soldier from the war.
Okay, Eddard 14.
Eddard.
And this one is the one where
Oh.
Robert actually dies, and then
Oh, and-
Littlefinger betrays the fuck out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Surprise,
Ned
surprise.
I-
shits the bed.
I will say that, like,
Ned shits the
if people hate Sansa based on the way that she behaves in this chapter, I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair because she's 12 and
She-
she's having her
I think-
whole world ripped away.
Isn't she 11?
I don't know. She's a baby.
Yeah.
And
But-
she's having her entire world ripped away.
Yeah, I think she really thought like she was doing the right thing here.
I think
And-
we see it in. I'm sorry, you were gonna say more.
Well, like her lens is just that adults are always gonna do the right thing, or at least adults she thinks she can trust. Like a queen is always gonna do the right thing
Because she
she's
was
the
raised
queen.
by Eddard and Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, those values might be
Exactly.
biting her in the back.
Eddard and me.
And also, I think we see in Sansa's chapter, which is what, the next one, or no,
no,
after
it's-
Arya.
it's- yeah.
But we see how pleasant Cersei is on the face of it
toward
towards
her.
Sansa. Yeah, so
And that's all she's seen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She hasn't
Yeah,
seen
exactly.
She
this.
believes in the story. She believes in true knights and
In her songs.
Yeah.
and like magical marriage, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Like she believes that that is good and that is right, and she's trying to do what she thinks is right. And she's a baby. She is a preteen who was ripped away from her home in the north, betrothed to the crown prince, and then is told, by the way, JK, like, you can't marry him, we're bailing. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
And
fair.
she's like, okay, how can I fix
It's
this?
not-
Oh, tell
it's
Cersei,
not
and
fair.
then it'll be fine, and we'll all just talk through this.
My
and it's
note
like,
was,
okay, that's what they're saying.
I want a golden goose now! That's what she sounds
Yeah,
like.
here she is. It's not fair on page 524. And that's when she runs away from Ned, and that's presumably when she.
That is exactly
that's
when
when
she
she
goes
goes
and
to
tells
Cersei.
Cersei.
It
And I
is.
find it interesting that Septa Mordain rose to stop her and rose to like go talk to her, but Ned's
Yeah.
like, no, it's fine, let her go. If Ned had just let Septa Mordain do her job as like Sansa's, I don't know, buddy. Septa Mordain is always there for Sansa.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Septa Mordain. She is like, oh, I'll go with her to say goodbye to
Yeah.
Prince Joffrey. But then she also is, obedient enough, I guess, to Ned to be like,
Yeah.
oh, you said no? Sansa, he said no, man.
That's why
I
I
like-
love in the show. There's that little bit where Septa Mordain clearly like sacrifices herself to save Sansa. She's
Yeah.
like run, and she turns and like we don't see her again.
Yeah,
I like Emily
it's sad.
points out. Oh, it's gone now. Emily points out that Sansa and Ned make the same mistake of trusting somebody that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's both Cersei.
Yeah.
Well,
And Littlefinger.
also Littlefinger.
Yeah. Black Star 2990. Sansa doesn't get it, and maybe she is selfish, but she's been promised the world, and she's being told like, suck it. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember what it's like to be 11 or 12, but I have a hard time remembering. But that's rough. It is rough to be that young and to be promised so many good things, and then to have your parent who loves you more than anything, who you trust more than anything, say, nah, no,
Yeah.
no. Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
I am a Sansa Stark defense squad.
Yes.
Like, Sansa's my favorite character.
Like, I get that she would be disappointed and upset, but if I were her, I would have just done what my dad told me to do.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
God, it's so annoying.
I like the top 100 movie challenge is pointing out that the difference between Jon and Sansa is that Jon has somebody who says, hey, stop it.
Yeah.
And Jon's able to say, oh, you're right, and Sansa doesn't have that.
Yeah, the closest thing she has is Jane Poole, but
Oh, and
she
we
never
see-
thinks about Jane Poole that way. She's like, oh, Jane, you suck.
We are getting ahead of ourselves. We're talking a lot about Sansa.
I
We're
know,
still
but I
on
like
Ed.
talking about
We're
Sansa.
still
We're
on-
still at like breakfast with
So Robert
Ned and the
actually
girls.
dies.
Yes,
or
now
Robert's
Robert
gone
is
now.
dead, and that's...
And Ned's like, cool, let's get everyone together for a meeting. And Pycelle is like, really offended.
Pycelle's like, can we sleep in?
Yeah.
Yeah. He does take that cup of sweet beer, though.
Yeah. And so everyone meets up, and then they all find out, oh, Renly's gone.
Bounced in the
Him and
night.
Loras
And-
pieced out.
Yeah. Ned made a huge mistake.
And
Yep.
yeah, Littlefinger's just been out all night. He's still wearing the same thing that he had, and
Which
his boots
is
are
like,
dusty from riding.
because he's always
Where was
immaculately
he?
dressed.
Yeah.
He's always described as being dressed very nicely, and the fact that
Where
he
were
comes
you?
in wearing like the same thing he was wearing yesterday is pretty suspect.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was doing some heavy plotting.
What took so long? I feel like all he had to do was go to Janis Slynt and be like, hey, Ned thinks we're going to do this, but we're going to do this.
Well, he probably went to some other people too.
Okay.
Cersei.
Yeah, that's a good question. Why is he like walking so
But-
much?
But I love that at the bottom of 525, Ned thinking he trusted neither Pycelle nor Varys. No mention of Littlefinger. You
I
still
love-
trust fucking
I love,
Littlefinger.
and I only thought of this because you brought up that like they both made a mistake, or was it someone in the
It was
chat
someone in
brought
the
up?
chat.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ned makes the mistake of trusting Littlefinger, and then Sansa makes the mistake of trusting
Everybody.
Cersei, and they're like the
Literally
inverse of each other with those two characters, because Sansa just trusts Cersei, and Ned seems like he just trusts Littlefinger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did
I don't know, guys. I'm really tired.
Kat ever tell Ned about like her history with Littlefinger?
Yeah, for sure.
So then why the heck is Ned just like trusting Littlefinger?
Because Catelyn trusted him.
yeah,
Why would he not, based on his
and it
based
was
on her
so
history with
long
Littlefinger?
ago at this point.
He never like betrayed her.
But he's
Yeah,
so
Littlefinger says that he'll do
sketchy.
everything for the love of Catelyn.
Yeah,
So-
I think
love.
Ned genuinely thinks Littlefinger is like someone who really cares for her, because it's like, oh, it was this childhood thing that was so long ago, and you know, he still has feelings for her. He's gonna protect. Now it's like, okay, they're all in good terms because
Yeah.
it was
Sure-
so. It was so.
Surely Littlefinger respects our marriage.
Yeah, he doesn't hold a grudge.
No.
And then on 526, when they're like going to, I think they're going to Joffrey, and he says,
Yeah.
there was no Lannister crimson to be seen, but Ned was reassured by the number of gold cloaks moving
No.
around the ramparts and at the gates.
That killed me. I felt bad for like laughing at it. He was like, "Okay, we're good.
Hurts
My plan."
so much.
And then I had another question. So the royal steward led them in, and he says, "All hail His Grace, Joffrey of the houses Baratheon and Lannister." Do they always say both of the houses?
No.
No.
That's
It's
what I thought that
it's
was
a
weird.
style. Well, that's why like Joffrey has his own sigil.
That was my other.
I think this is the start of that.
And I think it's Joffrey being influenced by Cersei.
Is it
Yeah.
just because? Yeah, it's just because they're like Lannisters are more important than Baratheons, but still you're like.
I'm
I
sure
think it's
Cersei
because
suggested this.
they're both powerful families, and I think Cersei, doesn't want the Lannisters to get swept aside because Joffrey is Baratheon.
Yeah.
He's not.
Right.
We all know he's not
Yeah.
Baratheon. But I think it goes back to like the fantasy trope and the medieval trope of like the power play in marriage. So it's if you marry, if you're a woman and you marry into a stronger, more powerful house, you would take the name of that house. But if your families are on equal footing, you would keep your name. That's why Cersei is Cersei Lannister and not Cersei Baratheon. And I think this is her way of saying like, screw you guys.
I don't know. That might be. I think Cersei Lannister is because it's the royal marriage.
I think
We looked
this
this
is
up.
like just specifically the Game of Thrones universe. I think the queen never takes the king's family name, but other houses do. I think it's literally
Okay.
just
Because Catelyn Stark.
because Catelyn Stark.
Lysa Arryn.
Well, no. Well, Lysa Tully. She would be Lysa Tully.
Is it? Are you sure? I feel like she's.
Or no, yeah, sorry, yeah. People refer to her as Lysa Arryn. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, I'm
yeah.
getting confused. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's only the royal family where that applies.
Okay.
Yeah, because like Elia Martell, she wasn't like Elia Targaryen.
Oh.
You know,
Wait. Yeah.
And
Ilya-
Marjorie Tyrell was never.
Marjorie Lannister.
Baratheon.
Marjorie
Baratheon,
Baratheon. Yeah.
Marjorie Tyrell Baratheon Lannister. That's what
Yo, someone is saying that I think Hannah Lewis said Catelyn's not a good judge of character. Catelyn's a great judge of character, I think. Right?
for everybody but Littlefinger.
Everyone but Littlefinger, who
And
everyone has their own.
Tyrion.
Yeah.
But then she
I don't
starts to
know.
learn.
Tyrion's not
But then
the
also,
best
well,
dude.
I don't know. I
But-
see where this person's coming from because Frey's.
No, but she knows that.
No,
Frey's
she
dangerous,
knows.
You know,
Yeah.
she
Oh, I
tells Rob
guess.
like, "Don't fuck up."
But she also, like, this is getting too far ahead, but when they go to the twins and she's like, oh, it's cool. He's known me since I was a little girl. And it's It's like,
Oh yeah,
You know,
that might be
no,
a book line or a show line of like he would never
No,
hurt me.
that's. I think it's in the book because I think I was reading that like a week ago. And while it is getting ahead, I think she just says that to reassure Rob and like the guys because she knows in her head that like
yeah.
this is gonna be tricky.
But then
we're getting too far ahead. Let's get back to Eddard.
Drew's bullshit.
Okay. I
But
hate the
also-
Boltons.
I know.
Um,
Anyway.
Also, just as you can see, like as Ned is coming into where the throne room where Joffrey is, there's so many people. Like they
Oh
start
my
to describe
God.
all
I love
the people,
the visual of the throne room.
and I'm just
too.
like, I just wrote so many people. You can already tell shit's about to go down.
Yeah, and that just blows it up.
Yeah.
He just is like, oh, Cersei wants to do this now? Fine. Stannis is the rightful heir in front of this gigantic
Oh
room
my
of
God.
people, and it's just like, nah.
While Joffrey is sitting on the Iron Throne.
It's
Yeah.
like,
He's up
it
there
was like
already.
the worst choice to make.
Also, I just want to say, every time somebody in the chat talks about Catelyn, I think they're talking about me for a second. Because my name is Caitlin.
I also love that Ned Stark slowly limped and hopped. that wasn't the part that I liked, but but then that just made me laugh.
His leg's broken.
The
right?
boy who called himself king.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted
so
to. It's just
good.
like when Dany thought of Viserys as the man who was her brother. Mm-hmm. It's a style that George uses a lot to like write about people who are projecting or are supposed to be one thing, but they're really not.
Mm-hmm.
So
And you
Here's
can-
another thing that drives me crazy about this chapter. Right before Ned just like goes fucking crazy, Cersei is like, bend the knee to my son and we'll allow you to step down and go home. Literally, this whole book, Ned has just been thinking that he wants to do that. And now he's
But
like,
now
no,
he has
I'm
honor
It's
to
not
it.
honorable.
and now I'm just gonna fuck it up.
I feel like, oh God, he should have knelt, he should have gone home, and he should have talked to Stannis from Winterfell
Yeah.
and dealt with it there.
Yup.
Like,
Yeah.
just go
But
home,
he
man.
doesn't.
He's,
Just go home.
Go home.
man.
Yeah.
Go hug your kids.
Oh god.
but he doesn't, and his whole
my God.
fucking
Damn.
guard gets killed.
I wrote down on page 528, Ned's honor fucks him over
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
Come get your boy Stark.
So yeah, Fat Tom, his first one killed.
Oh,
Rip.
poor Fat Tom.
Yep, rip. Then Varley, no, that's not Jane's dad, because her dad is Vayon Poole. I forget who Varley was. There's a lot of Stark men who don't matter anymore because they're all fucking dead.
Bye.
Phoebe says everything is Ned's fault? Question mark. No, not it's impossible. This is what I like about this series. It's impossible to say what's
Cersei's fault.
everyone's fault because it's all circular and
It's Cersei's fault.
everyone sucks.
Battery low.
And it's
Oh,
everyone's
that's that
fault.
battery low?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not Ned's fault. He's trying to do the right thing.
Everyone always tries to find one person to pin everything
It's
on.
impossible.
It's impossible.
It's
not.
very impossible. I mean, you could say it's all Rhaegar's fault.
Yeah. Really good. Okay, guys, I'm going to swap out the batteries on our sound recorder, so we're going to lose
No, it's all
sound
Brand's fault.
for just
Yeah.
a second. Anything else to say about this Ned chapter before we move on?
Yeah.
Please
the
say
frickin'
this
last
in your
line.
voice.
Yeah, how could you forget?
No, I'm sorry.
That was my
Yeah.
note. James, please say this in your little finger voice.
I did warn you not to trust me, you know.
I want to talk about that because that's Littlefinger puts a knife to Ned's throat.
Puts Ned's knife to his
How
throat.
many times do Starks have knives held to their throats?
A
Oh,
lot.
bunch.
A
'Cause-
lot.
Doesn't
happen to
Cat get
Cat?
the cat spot
Yeah.
at the beginning,
Yeah.
as well as later stuff that we can't talk about
As well
yet?
as later stuff.
As
Yeah.
well as I think during the battle in the high road. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up.
on the way to
Oh,
the
when Tyrion
Vale?
rescues her?
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh,
I-
no, doesn't that happen?
I think yeah,
Yeah.
that happens. Like
Yeah.
that's
It happens a lot.
it's like that's interesting to
Yeah,
me that that's a
think
visual
it's
that comes back
significant.
and it's specifically Stark related.
All right. I'm
Okay,
going
we're
to
gonna-
change the batteries, and then
We'll still be here
you guys can.
cleaning up after Rhaegar.
Here, let me get out of here. Sorry.
So, wait, is the sound gonna go out?
It's just gonna go out for a little bit, so you guys can do some mime dancing or something. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the
And we're back.
What would have happened if she didn't?
If she didn't kidnap Tyrion, it wouldn't have ramped up tensions between the Starks and Lannisters so
Like
quickly.
Jamie and Ned wouldn't have had that confrontation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oops,
yeah,
sorry.
that's right.
Yeah,
Moved your chair and
Ned
then
could
had
have been a
to-
bit
Mine
more
on my
stealth
toes.
about it.
We had to switch the batteries on the mic thing. That's why the sound went out, but it should be back
they have
now.
a lag. Yeah. Okay. And we're back. Moving on to Arya. What do we got? We got a
Arya.
bunch of shit to go
Yeah, we got
through,
a lot.
so-
We're-
Oh God. Yeah. Okay.
got a lot
Okay,
to
we
do.
should go fast.
My first note, Syrio equals Rafiki.
Oh, what with the like hitting
Yeah.
as a lesson?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like on page 531, watching is not seeing.
Yeah.
The heart lies and the head plays tricks, so use your other senses.
Yeah. And then he also goes on to talk about all these animals.
Yes. So we got striped horses, zebras.
Zero. Yeah.
Gray spot things with necks as long as stilts, giraffes.
Giraffes.
Yeah.
That's where I lose it.
Hairy mouse
mouse
pigs as
pigs.
big as cows.
Boars?
As big as cows, though?
Boars can get pretty big.
Rhino?
I mean, one did kill Robert, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus?
I also wrote down Sirio's home for peculiar animals.
Mr. What? Oh, McGore, like Sirio's Wonder Emporium.
Oh, Mr. Pharrell's Wonder Emporium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stinging mantis.
Stinging manticores. That sounds like something from Harry Potter.
That does sound like something
It's
from
Like
Harry
something
Potter.
that Hagrid has crossbreeded.
Yeah.
Or something that Luna's searching for.
Yeah. Yeah. Tigers that carry their cubs in a pouch? And I was like, what,
Thought that
kangaroos? But like, how would that
But
be
yeah, I
a
don't know how that would be like a
tiger?
Maybe that's just a Game of Thrones.
Koala? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Terrible walking lizards with sights. I don't know. You're losing
Oh,
the
you need
cereal.
to,
What? Oh,
Arya.
Yep,
Oh.
Yep.
Cursed Child Sings, we are discussing a Game of Thrones, and we're looking at an Arya chapter, Arya 4.
Yep.
I love the
really?
story about the Sea Lord and the cat. I like it.
Yes, that's a great. That's that Emperor has no clothes
Yeah.
equivalent.
And it also is just very apt for all that is going on right now
I like
in
him talking
terms
about
of like who
cats.
deserves to sit on the throne because what is
Yeah.
royalty anyway? It's just pointing at a person and saying that they're,
That,
you know?
I didn't think about that. That's when Robert's talking about all the flatterers and fools.
Yeah.
And Ned's the only one who tells it like it is to him.
Yeah.
Should I
Ned
say
is Syrio?
hairy
Ned
mouse
is-
pig?
Yeah.
Hairy mouse pig as big as cows could be a hippo.
I like that.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like that. You know, they have this sweet little moment before Syrio
Oh,
falls.
that's the worst.
I
He
want to talk
allows
about
himself a smile.
I want to talk about when the Lannister men come and they're like, "We're going to take you to your dad," and Syrio's just like, "Arya, stranger danger.
Yeah.
Why
she
wouldn't your
starts
dad
to
send your
go.
own men?"
Yeah.
And that's if you have children, you know, like talk to them about stranger danger.
Because Sansa would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then Arya says okay and starts to go, and then Syrio's like, "Hang on, wouldn't your dad send his own men?"
Oh yeah, and then she's like, oh, you were
And
It's like
now-
I just told you to think.
Yeah, to look and
Yeah.
not just watch.
I don't have to go with you.
Yeah.
You are quick for a dancing master. You are slow for a knight.
Yeah.
Love that back and forth.
I asked you this a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize it. So just from watching the show, I thought that Syrio and Jaqen were the same person.
You and a lot of the
Put on
Game
your
of Thrones
tinfoil hat.
fandom. Yeah.
Because you don't see him die, and then he says like the same thing as Jaqen, or like Jaqen references something that Syrio had said to Arya before, and I was like, oh, it's him.
Yeah.
But James tells me that's not true.
I think that's a tinfoil hat
Yeah.
theory.
But I mean, they do have, there's a lot of like parallels between her training, especially like learning to see differently,
I feel like
and like her training in the House of Black and White, which is like,
maybe
so
Syrio
far away.
also trained with the Faceless Men. Like,
could be,
he's
No.
from Bravos.
but
I don't know. He was a water dancer. That's a whole.
But
different
like
deal.
my
not there
my
yet.
whole issue with that is like, what is a water dancer? We never hear about that anywhere else.
I-
why?
I feel
It's-
like
it's
it's
like-
like fencing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the name for that is so, I don't know, something about it's so weird because we never hear about it anywhere. You never hear about like famous Bravosi water dancers. It's like just
But you
him.
do hear about First Swords of Bravos. That's like a title.
Okay.
and that's what he
I'm just saying
claims
it's
to
curious.
be. Yeah.
I don't have a ton of notes for this chapter.
I think Syriel's a badass and takes
I
down.
wrote that's one of my
fucking
notes.
cool.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
it's great with a wooden stick.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I mean, Arya sees that the guys who attack him at first have bare hands, no nose guards on the caps, no visors over the eyes. But after he takes them all down, she sees that Meryn Trant has eyes hidden behind his high white helm, in his hand cruel steel, everything sheathed in metal. She knows that his tricks won't work on Meryn Trant.
Yeah.
And they don't. Yep. And George R. R. Martin has confirmed that Syriel dies here. So don't be like Liz and get your hopes
Takes out a bunch
up.
of people.
Yeah. No, he goes
He
out. in an
died.
awesome
Yeah.
way.
So true.
Yeah.
I love Syrio.
He's great, and I think that's one of the reasons why the theories about him are so pervasive, is because he's such a lovable character. We want him to be around.
Yeah.
And then on 536, we see Arya remembering when she was hiding and she saw people talk Varys and the
Yeah.
man with the yellow beard.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was Illyrio.
Oh yeah.
So until just then,
I always forget.
I was
who
like,
that is.
oh!
I like on 536. She was the cat now, and if they caught her, they would kill her.
Yeah, that actually comes into play in Dance of Dragons.
Cat of the Canals.
Cat of the Canals
Yeah.
is one
Yeah.
of the many
Yeah.
identities that Arya
Also,
takes
her
on.
mom's name was Cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this part too,
Oh,
like
yeah.
her, like literally playing the role of another person and like just deciding, okay, how would Arya Stark not walk right now?
Yeah.
Arya Stark would be running, and they would expect her to be running. So if she's like, okay, I'll just play like I don't know what's going on and I'm a random person. Like that's the first instance of
Yeah.
her just kind of like understanding how to do that,
Yeah.
which I think is cool.
Then she fucking kills
We
the
get
kid.
Arya's first
Yeah,
kill.
Arya killed the guy
Yeah.
and is like really haunted by it.
Yeah, haunted for a while, but
And-
by the end of the chapter, she's like, "I killed him once. If he comes back, I'll kill him again."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like too that she forgets everything Syrio taught her, and
Yeah.
only remembers John's lesson and just like swoop
Yep.
Yeah.
And the one-line paragraph
And then
when she
his
took it out, he died.
hands. Oh, because I picture that. I picture it. You know, a very slender like fencing sword going
Yeah.
in, and then
Yeah.
your hands are like get it out, and it's gruesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That kid.
Gruesome.
I mean, he was gonna turn her in, so like fuck that guy, but also he was like a kid.
Yeah, he
So
didn't, know,
it's-
he didn't know what he was getting into.
Yeah.
He didn't know he was going up against
Just
crazy
like
ass
just
Arya
like
stuff.
the butcher's boy didn't know when he ran.
Ooh.
Right? Like this kid was maybe someone's Micah, you know?
Oh.
Think about it.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Because
Yeah, but we're rooting for Arya, so
Right.
who cares about him?
I like that they call her the Wolf Girl. I like when the Starks are referred to as wolves.
Yeah, you would. So throughout this chapter, she's just terrified the entire time. Just lots of word about that. Too frightened to move. Scariest thing she's ever done. She keeps thinking about this stable boy after she kills him, and that doesn't end until she thinks about the crypts in Winterfell. There's a couple of paragraphs where she thinks about a moment when her and the other Stark clan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before
And
Rickon is born.
I feel like everyone had to have noticed this, but that story, when the spirit stepped out of the open tomb, pale and white and moaning for blood, Sansa ran shrieking for the stairs, and Bran wrapped himself around Rob's legs, sobbing. Arya stood her ground and gave the spirit a punch. It was only Jon, covered with flour. Jon
The White
rising
Wolf?
from the grave.
Oh.
And being in the crypts,
Yeah.
which the crypts are a very it's hypothesized that the crypts are going to be very important in John's future.
Yeah.
And that they'll have to do with maybe his resurrection or maybe the
Doesn't-
revelation of his
Well,
true
it's.
identity.
I think it's also important because it's been mentioned a few times that all of their swords are down there, like
Yep.
the statues of the people whose grave it is. They have their sword like laying across their lap.
Yeah, in the Bran chapter, Rickon grabs an old sword from one of those.
Yeah.
And I mean, and also central to that idea is the fact that Jon always dreams of the crypts.
Yeah.
Apparently, his dreams usually end at a certain point, but as we saw in this previous chapter, it went a little further this time. But
I mean, let's be real. I would have been Sansa.
He would have ran away?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would have been like, what's happening?
I wonder whose tomb he was hiding in.
One of theirs, right?
Yeah.
Because it would have been empty.
So that's why I wondered if it was possible to figure it out, but I don't think it's
I get
specific
excited with the
enough.
theory that was immediately shot down.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
like
don't.
the
I don't
line
think
Arya
it's
felt
specific
better with
enough.
stealing her hand.
Yeah, and John has the same feeling when he's when he runs into the animated white, and he's like, "Oh, that's in the chapter coming up," but he's scared when he's going around looking for it, and it's when he grabs a sword, he feels more secure, and that I guess would link Arya and John, who are the similar siblings.
Me and John sounds like got some similarities. I'd say.
Sure, yeah, there's parallels between all the important
Stark
Stark
kids,
kids.
yeah.
It's weird thinking that Rob's not an important Stark kid in terms of our story, because he's not a POV, you know?
Well,
He's important to the plot, but not thematically, I guess.
I don't know. Rob the Lord is important,
He's important in relation to Bran.
but
you
I
know?
think that he's important too as standing for honor and doing the right thing, which is what all the Starks really kind of want to do.
Yeah.
Like Rob is the picture of what you would read in Sansa's stories.
Yep. Or tries to be, anyway.
Yeah.
Any other notes on this fun little
I
Arya
like
chapter?
I like Stephanie Megan's comment that the old kings in the crypts are described as having their swords across their laps, and the only other two people we see described this way have been Ned and Rob.
Yes.
Oh.
Lords of Winterfell.
Really
Both of them.
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say about this chapter.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I didn't have a lot of notes.
Either.
Should we switch over to Sansa now?
We'll switch over to Sansa now.
Sansa
angel.
dress.
Sansa.
Her dress.
Sansa
I was
what?
reading the word dress. It's a Sansa chapter, but I was looking at the
I
word
have
dress,
a
and I
cool
said
thing
dress.
about this
Sansa
chapter.
dress.
Sansa dress.
I need to make more of those.
More
Sansa. Okay, so
In this chapter,
do you want to give us your little summary?
Yep. In this chapter, Sansa is hanging out with Jane. You know, just shooting the shit. Not really, but she recounts everything that happened since we last saw her in Ned's chapter when she ran and told Cersei, and they just put her in house arrest. And then she is summoned to Cersei, not Joffrey, much to her dismay. And Cersei plants in her pretty little head the fact that, oh, the only way this is going to end well is if you write to what?
Get your family to bend their knee.
Yeah. Did you look at me as though Pretty Little Head was dismissive?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is a little bit.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's
But it's
Sansa.
what
Yeah.
Cersei would say. Yeah, I like she always uses her words. She tries to ask questions. She's in isolation. Every time they bring her food, she asks some questions. She tries to get information. She doesn't know what's happening.
But I also like how Jane is sitting there crying because Jane saw some shit go down. And
Yeah.
Sansa's like, she's such a child, says
Yeah.
Sansa, who just went and cried.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I underlined that too.
It's okay, Caitlin.
Sansa's a child too, but
I know.
she's trying to be the picture of a lady.
This is what makes me even sadder for Jane Poole.
Oh,
that
God.
Jane Poole's the one who's like really, really emotional about everything and is clearly like really easily affected by stuff.
Yeah.
God damn it. Like
She was
come on.
crying during the tournament.
Right.
She's crying now.
Like, George, why did you write this character? Why did you make this character so miserable? Like,
Drama.
she's
Her
not even
endless
real, and I
whimpers
hate
sobs.
thinking about her.
I
Jane
like.
is
I think I know.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna spoil Jane Poole.
No.
Although I've had it spoiled for me
Yeah, I
already.
think
I
I think
read
everybody
about it.
knows
Yeah, it's the worst.
if they've ever watched anything that these people
So
have made.
I like on a couple people in the chat have mentioned Sansa using her courtesy armor. I like on page 544, a lady remembered her courtesies and she was resolved to be a lady no matter what.
Oh, telling Sir Burroughs he looks handsome after thinking
Yeah.
like he's ugly.
Yeah.
Like,
He was an ugly man.
she's trying to do
Yeah.
what a lady would do.
Okay, Sansa has a dream that she is seated next to Joffrey in a gown of woven gold, and she has a crown in her head, and everyone she'd ever known came before to bend the knee and say their courtesies. And, like, dreams are super important in
And she believes
the
in them,
books,
too.
and she believes in it too, so I'm wondering, like, what the significance of that is. Like, do you think it's just her, like, the stuff that she wants to happen so badly is just manifesting itself in her dreams because it's so on her mind. Because I don't think anything about this is like super prophetic or anything.
Yeah.
Because often dreams are prophecy.
Well,
in the
like,
books.
yeah, and like later in the chapter, she's like, it's something like doesn't happen. She's like, but I had already dreamed about it, so
Yeah.
of course it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like you said. It's just something she wants so bad,
My poor lady.
affecting her while she sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
I really like at top of 543 in the songs, the knights never scream nor beg for mercy. Such a
I know.
such a harsh reality for Sansa.
I want to point out on page 545 that Cersei's mourning dress looks like Rhaegar's armor.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, that's why it sounded
Rhaegar's
familiar.
tears. It's like Rhaegar's tears.
It's
the rubies.
black with rubies sewn on her chest area,
Yeah.
just like his
I
breastplate had rubies on it.
Love that. It's such a like a fuck you to Robert.
Yeah.
While she's technically still wearing a mourning outfit.
She's mourning for him,
but like
wearing something.
also giving him a middle finger.
Man,
like
Yeah.
they might as well have just been like embroidered in the shape of a middle finger.
and it's
No,
Rhaegar
embroidered
who is
in the Targaryen dragon.
yes.
and it's Rhaegar the man who he hates the most.
Who she wanted to be with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I don't know. Did
So
she want to
many.
be with him or did she want to be him? Both.
I think she wanted to be with Rhaegar.
I think both.
See that. She just wants to be in charge. But yeah, I noticed that too. I love that detail.
Oh
a
yeah,
lot.
I always forget about Mandon Moore.
I do too.
Mandy Moore?
Yeah.
Maybe more.
She had a before she was a singer, she was a Kingsguard. Yeah. Oh God, and then more sad Jane Poole stuff.
God damn.
Littlefinger.
No! It
I'm
begins.
so upset.
I'll find a place for her.
Yeah.
Not in the city.
Yeah. I mean,
He
we
wasn't
know,
lying.
No, and we know the kind of businesses that Littlefinger.
He
Runs.
straight up sex trafficking.
Yeah, this is
And
straight
this
up
is
sex trap.
something where, like, the first time I read the books, I didn't catch that because it was just such like an offhanded, like, oh, okay, I'll find a place, and I just did. It never registered.
I
because
didn't think that
we
until
never
you
really,
just said that just
yeah,
now.
because
Yeah.
we never hear about her until like way later.
Yeah, I thought that, like,
He would just.
No.
No.
Jane Poole is off to go
This is sex trafficking.
work at one of Littlefinger's establishments.
Yeah.
And it's really fucked up.
yikes.
And more creepy Littlefinger. She could feel him staring. Something about the way the small man looked at her made Sansa feel as though she had no clothes on.
Yep. It reminded me
So
of the
gross.
clue.
I will say also, we have Cersei calling her sweet Sansa, and I'm thinking about the repetition of sweet sister and how that sweet in front of sister earlier in the book was sort of pejorative or kind of negative.
Wait, when was that? When was Sweet Sister?
We've heard sweet sister referred to, I think Tyrion calls Cersei as sweet sister,
Oh,
and
that's
they
right.
refer to Arya as Sansa's sweet sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just thinking of here when Cersei's saying sweet Sansa, Sansa's probably taking that really well, like she loves
Yeah.
me, but Cersei might be thinking like,
It's just like the southern, you know, oh, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Or like a Regina George
yeah,
type
bless her
thing.
heart. Yeah. And like, Cersei is described this whole time as like, she smiles warmly.
Yeah,
And
all these
all these
descriptions.
kind, she's very like
Laying a
gentle.
soft hand on
I-
her wrist.
Yeah,
I
I
think
love-
Sansa's projecting.
on 546 when Sansa says she wants to be as gentle as the queen and as strong as her lady mother, and like we know that Cersei is not gentle and that Cat can be scared, and Sansa is just seeing the best in them.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Carly Smith. Viserys called Dany sweet sister, and I think we stumbled onto something, guys.
On 548, I don't remember what section, but I just wrote the things we do for love with a frowny face. And I don't remember which section, like which part of that.
Oh,
It was for love.
Sansa, yeah, I think
Oh,
going
yeah,
and telling
yeah.
Cersei.
It makes me
About
so
all the stuff.
sad.
This is where I realized that they had been preparing all of this before Robert even died because Sansa told Cersei. Ugh.
Wait, oh no, Sansa. Oh yeah, was it before?
Because, well, in this chapter, she's like, the bell's ringing.
It would have been like
It means
right
that
around
Robert is
the
dead.
same time because
we were a little confused.
we
about
were
this,
talking
too.
about this earlier. So Sansa runs away from Ned and is like, it's not fair. And like it says about an hour later, Ned finds out Robert is dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, she would have
So it's probably in that hour period is
That
when she went to
Sansa-
Well, it's but
Cersei.
definitely before Robert died,
And then-
though, right?
well, they-
because
Just like an hour though.
But
The
they-
bells, I think,
They
are
told
delayed.
like later.
I-
A couple hours
yeah.
later, or maybe the
I
next
think it's the
day.
next day that they
Yeah.
told the bells.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, we were also confused about that. Oh yeah, hey, they are Southern ladies, you know.
Yeah.
Sweet sister.
I was wondering here, why do they? I don't know. Like, I'm sure it makes sense politically to take Sansa captive, but like, man, why didn't they just like kill her? Like,
It is political because it's something to use against Rob.
For the
yeah.
North.
Yeah.
Because then if they don't have a live Stark captive,
Like, who knows she's
Then that-
alive? It's not like they can send proof of life.
that's
But they do want that because later Cersei's gonna get real mad at everyone for not knowing where Arya
Arya
is.
is exactly
yeah.
right.
But yeah, because then if they don't have any captives or anything,
Yeah.
They're
Rob
just gonna
has-
start the war.
Yeah, Rob doesn't need any
Yeah.
reason to be restrained.
Yeah, this is a way to like have that check on Rob's.
Yeah, it's like taking a award like Theon.
And it's the same reason
Kind
she
of.
doesn't want to execute Ned.
No.
Never thought I'd hear Caitlin say that. Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, I never thought I'd say that, but I wrote it in my notes. There's a part on 549 that I really like. Can I borrow someone's book? To
Is it Lord Peter saying I should be
No,
more
no.
concerned with Lady
Oh,
Catelyn?
hang on. No, hang on. Go to the top of that page. We have, she reminds me of the mother, not the father, Lord Peter Baelish said quietly. Look at her, the hair, the eyes. She's the very image of Cat. That's a positive. He's saying she's not like Ned. She's like Cat. And then jump just a couple paragraphs, and I should be more concerned with Lady Catelyn and the Tullys. And you're like, Littlefinger, like, are you listening to the things that you're saying?
What do you mean?
Well,
Yeah,
so
he's like
at the top of the
praising
page-
Catelyn.
At the top of the page, he's praising Cat when everybody's saying that Sansa's going to be a traitor
Oh,
because she's
I
just like
see.
her dad. And he's like, no, she's like her mom.
Oh, I see.
And then a little bit later, a couple paragraphs later, he's like, well, I'd be concerned about Catelyn, not the Starks.
Yeah.
I think that might just be his way of trying to probe if Cersei will let him handle Catelyn. If he's like, Catelyn's something to worry about. I know her really well. Let me do something about it.
It's so interesting
Sorry
to
to
me to
slip
have
into it.
this kind of like dichotomy of what he's saying so close and nobody questions it.
yeah.
I'm so uncomfortable.
I thought this was funny. Cersei being like, you must write your lady mother and your brother, the eldest.
What's his name?
What is his name? Like, she doesn't fucking know.
And she never says Rob.
Yeah, like,
she
oh,
continues to
yeah.
say your brother.
I thought that was funny.
And I will just say that I really feel bad for Sansa when Cersei says, "You disappoint me, Sansa, with eyes gone hard as stones." I feel like I have had that disappointment expressed to me as a child from an adult that I cared about.
And just because she wants to see her dad.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Oh, God. Like,
manipulative.
Cersei's...
Like, that's emotional
she's
abuse.
gaslighting Sansa.
She is. She definitely plants that seed in her head, and then Sansa kind of works through it on her own on 551, working through like what will happen. And it's that second paragraph where she's like, only if Mother or Rob did anything treasonous, it would all go wrong. And that's definitely not an original thought, Sansa. That Cersei planted that shit earlier in here. Thanks, Gunnar.
Well, not just Cersei, but isn't it like
Varys
Varys and
and
Pycelle,
Pycelle,
all
yeah.
of them?
yeah.
Oh, my poor angel.
And, here we have Varys, stoking the flame. And earlier, he was talking to Ned and being like, who do you think gave him all that wine? Referring to Lancel. So I think that's just something to look out for. It's Varys. He's what? Well, he was told to delay the conflict between Stark and Lannister. But in these two chapters, it seems like he's kind of hastening it.
Well, I think that at this point he's like, I can't delay it, so I'm just gonna do what needs to be done, Varys.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to delay it, and then it all came out, and he's like, well, I gotta keep doing what I'm doing with my little birds and my whispering. Like, I can't just stop because it's already happened.
Yeah. I just know that, I know that him and Illyrio don't want this to crack open quite yet because Daenerys,
Why?
Well,
Daenerys isn't ready yet.
Isn't, like,
come
encouraging Sansa and encouraging Cersei to let Sansa be with Joffrey, kind of like putting
That's true.
the brakes on things a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and I think it also would be questionable if Varys was not supporting Cersei at this point.
Yeah, I guess the only question I have then is why point out with Lancel to Ned. Mm-hmm. Why do that? Because do you remember like him and Illyrio want the Starks and Lannisters to be fighting when Daenerys comes over,
okay.
not before, so that like the realm is in disarray.
Yeah, and then
people
they
will be
have-
like, oh, Daenerys
They're
is
distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the chat. Like, who's even a fan of Pycelle?
No one likes Pycelle.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And, I mean, show Pycelle is more entertaining because Julian Glover specifically asked
Show
for
Pycelle
more
is
to
so
do.
gross.
But like
Yeah.
even show Pycelle, like I hated him.
Oh yeah, you hate him, but at least
Yeah.
he's fun to hate.
Yeah.
Luke Pycelle is kind of a drag.
Yeah.
I like
Grace.
I like that it closes with Sansa returning to her stories,
Yeah.
trying to find peace in a turbulent world.
And then realizing she forgot.
She's like, oh yeah, what about Arya?
Yeah, after writing 4 letters, just and that's gonna piss off Rob and Catelyn later too.
I don't take issue with that because there's so much going on. She's trying to figure out what happened to her dad. Like, she's so caught up in everything that's happening and like trying to make sure that she's still safe and, you know, remembering her courtesies. I think it just slips her mind. I don't think that it's a purposeful like, meh,
Yeah.
Arya. I think it's like, Dad, crap, treason, crap, Joffrey,
Yeah.
crap.
Of course.
I think also it's maybe just subconsciously she just knows Arya's a survivor and just doesn't worry about her,
yeah.
Well, and
you know? And so she
Yeah.
doesn't even
She
think
thinks
about
about
it.
everyone else in her family.
Yeah, but her and Arya just, never really got along. So I can see.
How
think
could
about
you
the
not?
ones you love.
How can you not think about the only family you have in King's Landing? Like she already thought about her dad. Does she just really dislike Arya that much?
No, I don't think that.
I would do a Mad Men reference, but you wouldn't get it.
I wouldn't get it.
She doesn't think about her at all.
Yeah.
I just think she does. Like we get that she remembers when she's back in her room about Arya, and I think it's just there's so much going
I
on
think she's just so focused on Joffrey.
that she's
You know, she's so singularly minded about
Yeah.
wanting to be with Joffrey that Ned's situation affects her being with Joffrey. Arya's situation does not. You know?
and I'm sure that like if somebody had said something about Arya, she would have gotten really
Yeah, but
worried
they don't
and asked
reference it at
questions, but
all,
nobody
so.
wants her to think about it.
All right. Anything else before we move on to John?
Nope. Let's go back to John.
Let's go back to John.
More stuff.
Oh my god. We have so much.
So many stuff.
Well, 3 chapters left. We're getting there. We're getting
getting
there.
there.
John
I have a
7.
lot of notes for this
This is
chapter.
when, do they actually take, no, we did the oath earlier.
Yeah,
but this
this
is when
is
they're
oath.
inspecting the bodies
Yeah.
beyond the wall with Mormont. I guess they went and got him and then brought him back out to the bodies, or maybe they sent someone to get him. And then they bring the bodies back. When they get back, they find out that the king is dead and that Ned's imprisoned. And John gets pissed off that a comment that Alistair makes, attacks him, is put on house arrest,
It is not hard to like Sansa at the beginning.
and then finds the
I'm
white...
finding it difficult.
Sansa. Sorry.
I
And-
forgot about John attacking Alistair. I forgot that happened.
Yeah, and that's like a real...
That shit's crazy.
He pulls out a dagger, and it sounds like he would actually have killed Alistair had
Yeah.
all these other brothers.
What
that-
would he be executed?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
For sure.
I mean, I'm surprised he wasn't
So
executed for attempting it.
Yeah.
does this open with
He
Sean
probably would have
talking
gotten
about
in
a
more
dream?
trouble had the white
This opens
situation
with
not happened.
them looking at the bodies. CSI Haunted Forest. They're
just
like,
love-
okay, yeah, and Sam doing some detective work.
Oh no, yeah, no, it talks about his dream in the crypts.
Oh, that's
wrote
right,
down,
more crypts.
Could this have been a green dream? Could John have had a green dream here about
A green dream?
death?
What's
What
that?
was that accent?
A green dream?
I think you just slipped into Texas for a second there. A green dream. That's just seeing the future in your dreams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What were you going to say at the
Um,
top of this?
Oh, I was just like how sweet he is to Sam. Sam's like, I can't look, and John's like, it's okay, like we're all here.
It's just like
have to look.
It's just
With
like how he is
Bran.
with Bran.
Yeah,
the
like
first
you
chapter.
have to look.
He's
Yeah.
so freaking nice to him.
But Bran doesn't need to be physically like held.
Yeah.
Bran just does it.
Yeah.
8-year-old that he is.
Yep. But yeah, more crypts.
Yeah, so
Oh, I guess supporting your
When he
idea
turned-
that it's a green dream
when he
is
turned, he saw the vaults were opening one after the other as the dead kings came stumbling from their cold black graves. Yeah,
He did just say, "Gods, I was such a green boy." Ooh.
because I feel like this might have something to do with like foreshadowing White Walker stuff.
I had that thought too. And I thought, like, how cool would it be if, like, later in the books, once we get, like, White Walkers and all kinds of crazy shit breaks loose, like, south of the wall, like, wouldn't eventually these, like, old Stark kings, like, come to life as whites?
I don't know. What's the time limit?
Be
Is there an
cool.
expiration on
that'd be so
corpses?
cool.
I don't
I
think
don't
so. Isn't it? Don't they say that the swords are laid across their laps to keep them from? Isn't there something about in the crypts the reason that the old kings have their swords is to keep them from like?
From coming back or
Yeah.
something like that? That's true. I think that is said. And then also later we're going to have some of those swords removed
Yep.
from the crypts.
Yep.
So maybe this is all building
Yes,
into
this
some
is
crazy shit.
my theory. We're gonna get, like, Stark whites.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Cool.
god.
Hey, also, guys, I
Creepy.
feel dumb that I've never explicitly had this thought, but it's the Night's Watch are the Black Brothers, and they're fighting against the Whites, like Black and
White
White.
Walkers.
Well, also
Hey.
the Whites,
Yeah.
like resurrected
Oh, yeah,
corpses
yeah.
are Whites. So yeah, Black and White.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And the wall is gray, like ice.
Ooh. Depending on the day. Horses don't like direwolves. Horses don't like corpses. What do horses like? Sugar, I guess.
And apples.
I love that
Apples.
Sam knows all about corpses.
I
Yeah.
love your CSI.
Yeah, CSI.
It's sort of like, what do we got?
Yeah.
What do we got here?
And they're like, they've only been dead this long, and Sam's like, no,
Yeah.
let me tell you, I know.
Yeah. Oh, also, neither of them had blue eyes, and they all kind of, like...
Yeah, it takes them a while to realize.
Yeah, and, like, they all, like, don't really say anything because they're all creeped out. And they don't want to
Mhm.
admit
They don't
something,
wanna-
something
yeah.
supernatural maybe happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I did look back when John notices that Othor was a big ugly man and had made a big ugly corpse. I like that. But he was the one bellowing the body song as the Rangers rode out. That's page 179, in case you're interested. One of his Rangers, big ugly man, sang a body song as he saddled his gear. No new information, but I just want to confirm.
You know,
Nice
consistent.
callback.
Yeah.
Nice callback.
Good job, John. Your memory checks out. Oh, carrots. You guys are right. Horses like carrots, too. Oh, also, we get a little bit of a timeline information here. It's been half a year since Benjen left.
Yeah, I didn't realize it had been that long.
Right? It's, but I mean, you know, a lot of shit's happened, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been half a year since.
And John is still like, he's not dead.
Right, John? Come on. Get it together.
It's not like you saw him.
I love he knew they all knew, yet no man of them would say the words. Like, they all know what's going on with his body, but everybody's trying to make excuses because they're terrified.
It was so frustrating reading Sam's forensic diagnostics
Oh.
because it's like ... Ugh.
I literally wrote, oh.
John Steyerwolf, you can see, and yet the thumb hasn't bled.
He's
Little
probably
random.
hyperventilating.
Probably, but I don't want to read that shit.
I know. Like, I get it. It was annoying to read, though.
I like on page 557 when somebody's just like, burn them. And I'm like, yeah. Just burn them. Burn them
Yeah,
all.
it doesn't even say who it is. Yeah, just burn them. Burn them. Yeah,
I was wondering, I didn't go back to check, when they're having that discussion about the blue eyes, does the guy in the prologue talk about the blue eyes?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been laid since right away.
Okay.
I underlined Chelsea got a good laugh at this when she was reading from my book. I want Maester Aemon to have a look at them. I circled look and wrote wall. Sorry, Aemon.
Like,
Blind.
think, Jork, come on.
Yeah.
I
use
didn't
your
catch
words.
that.
I did. It's really funny.
We have Sir Jeremy Riker here. He's the first ranger now that Benjen's gone. And I noticed on this read through that he's kind of a dick.
What page?
On 555, Sir Jeremy was not known for his patience. I did not ask for your views, boy, he said coldly. And I think there's some other... when Mormont is, like, chiding him for how did this happen, instead of, like, paying respect and being like, oh, I'm sorry, he's like, no, that wasn't our fault.
Yeah.
He bristled, his face taut with anger on 554. No horn was blown. I just like, dude, maybe just like apologize. Although I guess Mormont is on this read through.
Mormont's saying you didn't do your job, and he's saying I did. Like I did my job.
Yeah,
it didn't happen.
And he's saying that where was it? He blames Mormont. Yeah, we stayed closer to the wall than we were wont to do before by your own command. And the old bear grunts, yes, well, be that as it may. On this read-through, I'm like less enamored with General Mormont.
He's bugging me too.
He's
very not aware of stuff.
Yeah, he's not he's not looking or seeing, you know?
Yeah, he's not a water dancer.
No, he's not.
He's an ice dancer.
Like
which is an actual sport.
Yeah. He's nice enough to Jon, and I think that's why I liked him so much before.
Yeah.
But like when you look at him and like Gruss always points out, he puts Elser in charge of these boys. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, no. Yeah, I think Jon definitely has like a keen sense that George does not. For like people anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like
too soon.
On page 558, we get Old Nan's description of the others.
Oh, I love that.
It's very important in all the other mythology.
Liz, do you want to read that?
I was about to say, can we read it? In that darkness, the others came riding. She used to say, dropping her voice, blah, blah. Cold and dead they were, and they hated iron and fire and the touch of the sun, and every living creature with hot blood in its veins. Holdfasts and cities and kingdoms of men all fell before them as they moved south on pale dead horses, leading hosts of the slain. They fed their dead servants on the flesh of human children.
Yeah. I think that one of the most interesting things about this is they hated iron. Like, everyone's got iron. Isn't that weird? That
is strange because that's never, like,
it makes me
used as a weapon against them. Like, that's not a thing.
Like, swords don't work.
Well,
swords are steel, I guess.
Actually, though, yeah, I think that this is explained in a Radio Westeros of iron wasn't invented back then. I think that back
like
when
just
in the age of all
yeah.
this shit.
Okay.
Well, then how do they know what iron is?
Iron Throne.
No. It exists now in Game of Thrones, but back when the others iron was not
the others are
an
still
alloy
around.
that was forged back then.
I see.
So iron might mean
Dragon
like
glass.
might mean dragon glass, might mean Valyrian steel.
I'm thinking too
Which is
of
dragon glass? No.
I don't know if we've gotten to it yet, but when Drogo talks about Westeros and like men in their iron suits and their buildings and of stone.
Do they
and
just
stuff.
think that iron is any metal?
I don't know, but it for whatever reason, it didn't, when I was reading it didn't hit me like this, but for whatever reason now I'm thinking of, I think it's the Dany chapter that we're going to come to of when Khal Drogo talks about Westeros.
Just throw the chair at the others. The Iron Throne.
Iron Throne! Just tell them to sit on it and they'll get cut.
Oh, here, Arthur, take the throne.
Yeah.
Age of Heroes. Thanks, Abigail. What were we saying?
Oh, I just a curious parallel that we haven't gotten to yet.
Okay.
But
Might be from the British fairy mythology. That's what I was thinking. In Maleficent, she can't touch iron.
Oh.
She's a fairy.
I was unfamiliar with
Oh, I
that.
didn't know that was a
neither
thing.
can vampires.
That's
I
common.
know that one.
Werewolves in silver.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Hey, I like Mormont's horse described as a tough little Garen on 559.
Tough little Garen.
Tough little Garen.
I also love
Come to a
like-
trot, just like.
I also love
grimaces.
ooh, oh. The horn.
Oh my god. Okay. sorry, this is gonna get esoteric, but the sound of the horn on the show is literally the exact same sound that plays when you go to the Enchanted Tiki Room at Disneyland, and they have that little pre-show where it's like,
Oh my god, and it's like
and like it does like the little tiki gods one by one. But we were like, why does that sound so familiar? And we were like, dude, that's like the same noise.
Oh my god.
But I think it might actually just be the same sound.
What if it were
Or, like,
the,
same
the
instrument.
foghorn from Pacific Rim?
I was like, and then you're gonna say from SpongeBob, like his alarm clock.
Mention of the storerooms that I talked about earlier along the base of the wall. Dark, cold cell chiseled from the ice and used to keep meat and grain and sometimes even beer. So that's where the dead men are kept.
With the food?
Yeah.
That's gross.
They don't know about cross-contamination yet.
I just imagine it being like a honeycomb of like ice cells.
Oh.
Interesting.
Like
Yeah.
sky cells, but ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like
There's,
earth
like, different
cells,
rooms.
fire cells, and then Captain Planet
Water.
comes to
So.
Oh, I was taking the Avatar Last Airbender route.
that. No. Yeah, he talks. Oh god, this is a long chapter. A lot of stuff happens.
I know. So he finds out Robert's dead and Ned's a traitor and everything.
I like that we get some Jorah backstory on page 561
Yeah.
without being explicit that this is Jorah we're talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
George's just kind of rambling, like
talking about his
my
son.
Yeah, that young
And
wife of his.
I always forget that Gior is Jorah's dad.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people
forget
do.
that.
I don't
lot.
forget that
You don't?
now because I'm so in tune with Lyanna Mormont and I've been like trying to learn her whole history.
I didn't know that Jorah had a wife, and then it turns out he had two wives.
Yep. Hightower was the first one.
No, she's Lyness Hightower's his second wife, right?
I don't. Yeah.
No, I thought it was his first, and then the second, because he wouldn't have had Lyness after having this. Oh, is Lyness the vain one?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure.
Because I
Sorry.
went and looked at a wiki of Ice and Fire because I was really confused about his wife because I
Yeah.
didn't know he had a wife.
Lyness is like the reason he starts getting into the slave trade.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he wants to buy
And
things.
online gambling.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
Because he wants to why?
He wants to pamper her.
She's like a fancy southern,
Southern
and
lady.
he brings her up to Bear Island, and she's like, "What is this?"
She's
shit?"
like, what the
She-
fuck
I
is
think
Bear
he wins a
Island?
tournament and names her his Queen of Beauty,
Yeah.
and then she's like so flattered, so they get married, and he takes her to Bear Island, and she's like, "This sucks."
Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, I'll buy you things to make you happy."
So he has
So-
two wives
so
at the
he-
same time?
No, the first wife dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
What happened to the
he,
second
like,
one?
So he bankrupts Bear Island, right?
I
And then
think
she,
so.
like,
and then
pieces
sells
out.
humans to get more money to, and then when he's banished, I think she
pieces
abandons
out.
him.
She's on-
They go together.
Yeah.
to Essos.
But she goes to Bravos.
No,
or-
she's on like the Summer Isles or something.
Yeah, she went off and was
But
like,
he doesn't have kids.
no,
No.
he has no kids.
No.
No bastards or anything.
His first wife died after they tried to have a bunch of kids. Yeah.
Does this all come up later in the
It's-
books,
Yep.
or is this
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe
It's a
we
sad
should just
story.
like stop
Yeah.
talking about that.
I do like Mormont and John both talking fondly of Tyrion. You know, on 562, A Pity the Dwarf isn't with them. And then John echoing a lot of the fan base's thoughts of if Lord Eddard was killed, she would be as much to blame as the queen, which, no, but...
Like, no.
I am so hurt in this moment because he basically says, "Screw Catelyn, Tyrion's my friend," and I'm just like,
Well, he was way nicer
Could you
to him.
blame him?
Yeah, he was way nicer to
Can't-
him than Catelyn.
Yeah.
Especially after Catelyn says, "I wish it had been you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
but,
I'm
like,
with John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have someone who his
hurts.
whole
Like,
life...
I want them to love each other.
But that's not
I
this
do
world,
too,
Caitlin.
but John
his whole
has-
life, Catelyn made him feel like less than, and then in one ride up, Tyrion's like, "Hey, man, I get it." Mm-hmm. For sure.
it's sad.
It is sad.
I wish that Catelyn hadn't been mean to John.
I
Yeah.
wish
Yeah.
that Ned had told Catelyn the truth about John
That's
so that
true,
Cat
too.
could have just loved him.
That as well.
I feel like we have this argument every book club.
Yeah.
Should
Like,
not
why-
have told
Anyway.
Catelyn.
I like on 563 when John is talking to Gior about what happened to his family, and his concern for both of his sisters is really touching.
Yeah.
He asks about Sansa and Arya, and he says, you know, if they had their wolves, they would have been fine. And like, it's just it's very touching that he thinks fondly of both of his sisters. here.
Exactly. Unlike
Unlike
Sansa, who doesn't think of Arya.
Even though Sansa was never nice to Jon, he thinks about her.
You know what? No, I know later in the books, she thinks of him fondly and how sweet it would be to see him again.
Yeah, they're totally gonna get together.
But
I'm okay with it.
I know, I'm kind of okay with it.
on
Judge
561,
me all you want.
this is not the first time he's done this, but Jon has like a Smeagol voice inside of him that is like a small voice whispered inside of him. Where was the honor in that? And your mother, what of her? He will not
It's
even
a
speak her
fucking,
name.
it's Freddie Piece.
Oh, God.
Oh god, sports reference, the only sports reference you'll ever hear me make.
But he does this earlier too, like when he goes on his little horse ride into the night by himself, and he's like, he has like a voice inside of him.
Wait, I also like.
Because he's a
Wait,
Targaryen and he's
James,
crazy.
Freddie P. Snow.
God damn it, Kelsey. No one's getting that reference.
I don't know what you're saying.
Kressel and Joel are.
They're not here. I really like on 563. I think is it Pip or Gren? And they're like, "You're my brother, so he's my father
Oh,
too."
that's so sweet.
Oh,
And
yeah.
just
Yeah, that's really cute.
the fondness that they have, like, we're family, so your hurts are my hurts too.
That's, and all that
I love
sweetness is
that.
shattered by Thorn. And then Jon tries to
Yeah.
kill him.
John really changes the atmosphere of the watch. Like, they actually start acting like brothers.
Yeah.
Like, before then, they're not really. They're all.
Do you think it's because of the way he treated Sam? Or like,
Well, no, he was getting
He's
everyone
that way
on his
to
side
everybody.
before
Yeah.
that.
Because
After
Alistair doesn't want to actually train them, so he
That's
like,
right,
steps in
right,
and actually trains them on how to fight.
Yeah.
after that Don Illinois pep talk.
he's a great teacher.
He is. He's a great leader. Sucks that Mormont gets disgusted with him, and to think I had high hopes for you.
Kind of like what Cersei
And
said to
Sansa.
Sansa.
Yep, it's the same thing.
Oh.
You just feel that disappointment.
Yeah.
Ouch. Don't
More talk about how when the others are around, it gets really cold.
I will
Yes.
say I understand Gior's disappointment more than I understand Cersei's. Like, Cersei's being manipulative. Gior
Yeah,
is like,
yeah.
dude,
You just
fucked.
tried to
You,
kill
you
someone.
messed up.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Told you not to do anything stupid.
I really like his guard was sprawled bonelessly across the narrow steps, looking up at him. Looking up at him, even though he was lying on his stomach. Oh!
And
Great
then
reveal, George.
Zombie fight sequence.
Zombie fight
That's
sequence.
cool. And
that's
naked,
fun.
naked George.
Wait, I love. So John says that he felt as blind as Master Aemon, and I just really like the references to blindness. Sorry.
I love.
I like that.
I also love that he hears the bird going corn, corn, corn,
And then he's
corn.
like, burn, burn, burn.
I love that the bird. I wrote, damn, that bird is smart to tell John to burn.
Yeah!
Like,
There's a lot of theories about that bird.
Yeah, that bird
Is it the
confuses
three-eyed
me.
raven?
Maybe.
That it's like someone warging.
Warg?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
And
a
he's telling
wildling?
them to
The
burn.
wildling who wargs into birds?
No.
Garrett from The
Who-
Office?
Wait, who do people? Well,
No, he's
This is like getting ahead of ourselves.
he's also the guy in Pirates of the Caribbean who loses
Yes,
his
his
eye.
eyeball.
I noticed here, I think it's twice, John uses the word queer to describe Othor.
Yeah.
And this might just be my own like academic background because I do a lot of reading on queer theory, and it just sort of struck me as weird because I
queer?
don't think of the term queer when I think of like fantasy stories. And then I noticed not just in this chapter, but it comes up like multiple times in other chapters, and I thought it was queer, but to use the word queer so often.
That might just
think
be
it-
George.
Yeah, I
it's
think
just-
he uses it a few times.
It just struck me as strange
it's-
because I'm used
yeah.
to thinking about it in like an academic
Yeah.
context.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
sort of a postmodern approach to the term queer, which I don't think is what George is doing.
The prose kind of slips on 566 into like, I was kind of reminded of like a gothic poem, like maybe some Poe-esque when it's getting all crazy and it's like taking off half his nose and opening a gash cheek to cheek under those eyes like blue stars burning.
Yeah.
John knew that face. He's dead. I saw him dead. Like,
It is a little like Allan Poe.
you know? And I guess it's appropriate. He's fighting a zombie. That seems
Yeah.
Poe-ish.
Oh, that just reminds me of in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland when it's Carthage just burning, burning, burning. Which has no other relation, but I read The Wasteland not too long ago.
Just had a name drop Wasteland in there.
Name drop T.S. Eliot.
I also love that another Pirates of the Caribbean reference, and didn't think that was gonna happen twice in this live stream. But when he cuts off his arm, and then the arm's just like, "Rah!" Like he keeps attacking him.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why does Othor put his hand in Jon's mouth?
Yeah.
Just to be fucking gross.
Is that just gross, or is that how you turn someone to a wife?
No, I think it's just like
Suff-
when you cut the hand, like, because the hand gets cut off, and I think it just becomes its own like being at that point. And like, what's the most effective?
No,
way?
but it's not the hand that sticks it in his throat. It's like the guy.
Yeah, Othor.
The white jammed its black corpse
Oh,
fingers into Jon's
I
mouth.
completely read
Yeah, I
that
think he's
wrong.
just trying to like choke him to death.
Oh, weird.
He's like,
okay,
Yeah.
he's grabbing his own hand and shoving it in his
How do
No,
you
he-
turn
he
someone
still has
to
his
a
other hand.
wife?
He
'Cause
still has his
doesn't
other hand.
doesn't he talk about like
Hold
how
on.
cold it makes him?
I'm rereading this part because I think I have a misunderstanding.
Was that when you were falling the fuck asleep on the plane?
Probably.
I just love the way this chapter ends. Let it
Yeah,
burn, he
here.
prayed. Gods, please let it burn.
Its hand forced itself farther down his throat, icy cold, choking him.
Oh, so it is the attached hand.
Its
Okay,
face
I
was
see.
against his own, filling the world, frost covered. So he's describing Othor's body here, right?
Yeah, and his face and his eyes. That's not John's face becoming white.
I don't know, for whatever reason, it just makes me think that like shoving the black hand in and then like it turns you cold from the inside out.
That'd be a weirdly specific way to transfer someone into a white.
Well, I wonder if maybe it's like someone's mouth is like the warmest part. So it's like he's like drawn to like where like warmth is emanating from. And
Oh,
you know,
sure.
out of his mouth.
Man,
hole.
that's a gross way to
Any
say
other
it.
thoughts before moving on to Bran
Stick your
6?
fingers down that
go
mouth
Bran.
hole.
Bran.
Let's go to
Bran,
Oh my God.
Bran.
Burn.
No, wait, what?
Corn.
Corn.
Card.
This is I like this Bran stuff. I like this, and I like the future Bran stuff when Bran's chilling in Winterfell without Robb.
I liked
I
this
forgot
chapter.
I
what
like
was
this
happening.
chapter.
Well, a bunch of sigils. That's always fun.
I was about to say I like
Yeah.
chapters where it's just like parades of sigils.
Yeah.
I
That's,
like Bran learning the sigils here.
Yeah.
Oh, also, one of Lord Bolton's men knifes one of Lord Kerwin's. Like,
Yeah,
what
like chill the
fuck,
fuck
Boltons?
out, Bolton.
Oh, quick summary.
White Sergeant
Bran,
mentors.
Bran sees Karstark arriving, and that's the last of the Northern Bannermen to get to Winterfell. Then Bran goes to the Godswood, and he has this, like, he gets to the Godswood, and then he has, like,
Flashback.
3 pages of flashbacks
Yeah,
about
to the
what
point where I was
happened.
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's like in the Godswood when it got back to present.
Yeah, and in the show, we see all that happen in real time, like the incident with Great John Umber, and like, your meat is bloody tough. And then he
Yeah.
comes back, and he has, he runs into Osha, or she runs into him. She sees Hodor's
Hodor's
giant member.
dick.
And then
Oh,
Robb
that's
leaves
so
for war.
weird.
Yeah, that one's
I
not
just
that
love that
fun.
of all the things they had to cut for the show, like they still had to make sure Hodor's penis made it.
Obviously.
Yeah, a giant prosthetic
Big ol'
penis.
yeah, swinging dick.
God.
I love the conversation on page 570 when they're talking about how many nights. And
Yeah.
he says, a man's worth is not marked by a sir in front of his name. And
And Bran
thought of
always wanted to be a knight.
Well,
Aw.
I thought of the Hound.
Yeah, I was thinking of
Yeah.
like Hound, Sansa, Gregor, that theme. But no, you're right. Yeah, Bran also has always wanted to be a knight, and this is like,
And Master
hey,
Lewin's like, it's okay, not everyone is a
Yeah.
knight.
Well, and not just that, but he's saying in the North, like, we don't care about knights.
yeah.
Like, that's not how we know our worth.
But my favorite is, some call us Knights of the Mind.
No one says that.
I literally wrote, no one calls it that, Lewin. Like, that's something that Lewin's trying to make happen. And Bran's
Stop
like,
trying to make fetch happen.
yeah. Bran's like, I heard you telling Mordain that you were going to try to get that started. Okay, don't try it with me.
I do.
My next note skips 2 pages to when Bran's in the Godswood.
Well, my underline on 570 is Hodor, said Hodor.
Deep. Sometimes Hodor forgot that he had Bran on his back, and that could be painful when he went through the door. I remember after a certain season 6 episode, someone screenshotted that and posted it and was like, at least Hodor did that. Like
Yeah.
to Bran. I'm like, at least he got some revenge.
And like poor Bran, who's like you know, he outranks literally every single person flooding into the.
And then they treat him super
And they
poorly.
all just treat him like garbage and like
Yeah.
make fun
I'd
of
rather
him.
be dead than be like that.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Just makes me sad. Like,
That's a really good parallel to just disability in general.
Tyrion.
yeah.
Yeah, Tyrion, for sure.
Yep.
What was your note?
My note on 572,
Mm-hmm.
when Bran goes to the Godswood, and the quote is, "Of late he found himself drawn to it more and more," and I just wrote, foreshadowing the Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah, because now he feels like when
Like the Godswood is home.
Yeah, when the eyes seem like they're watching him, he now takes comfort in that, and it is someone watching over him, most likely.
Yeah. I see the chat is talking about a certain season 6 spoiler.
Oh yeah, we don't need to get
So
into
we
that.
do not need to get into that, but I will at the end of this chapter when Bran's just like, Hodor, wonder what it meant. And I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I want to say about that.
But yeah, as far as the flashbacks go, this is when he's talking about Rickon being down in the crypts. Rickon's such a crazy fucker.
He's so crazy.
he's wild.
Wait.
Yeah, he's a feral
kid is-
child.
Yeah.
That kid is
What's
wild.
up?
I was gonna say
So opposite
Bran,
of what I know.
like pulls himself out of his wicker basket
Yeah.
thing. He just straight up does like a pull up.
Yeah.
Like he's so jacked. Like, he just is like, oh, and like lifts himself. I don't know.
But
I thought that was.
But he always skips leg day.
Oh
Oh,
god.
sorry.
But I don't know. Did that stick out to you? I was like,
Well, they
oh,
did that?
he can just like
Yeah.
just do
No,
a
no,
pull
I-
up.
Doesn't he?
it's
Doesn't he climb
remarkable.
from his bed to the window on like little things in the wall to be able to look out the window? Has that happened yet? Or I know at some point
I
he
don't think
has
that's.
I don't
little
know.
things in the wall that he can like climb from his bed to the window. So he's been getting his swell on.
I like
Yeah.
Emily's note that the way disability is discussed in this novel is a pleasant surprise. I agree. Unfortunately, I think the way that like sexual assault is discussed just makes me uncomfortable and unhappy.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still think George R. R. Martin is a progressive person. Okay.
There's so much like
There is a lot. I'm not gonna
sexual
deny
assault
that.
that
Yeah.
it just makes me uncomfortable.
It's a lot.
Oh man, I don't know if you got to the point in Clash.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Well,
worst.
we're probably gonna like dedicate a lot of one book club to talking about like that specifically because it gets really bad.
Well, we're not there yet, so let's get back to
Exactly.
this.
I can't believe like how wild Rickon is. Like from show Rickon, he's like nothing
Yeah.
basically. Like
Yeah.
I've never thought
Well,
about
they
him
basically
twice.
Cut him out of the show because there's so much else that they needed to dedicate time to.
But yeah, he's like a feral wolf boy.
YOLO, yelled Rickon, says Carla Kazem. But yeah, it's he's not a big character, but he's a force.
6 is direwolf on his own people.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 3 years old. Like that's some terrible.
He's not 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 3. He's a
Oh.
toddler.
Everyone's so young, remember? in
I
the
know, but I
books?
thought he was like 6.
No,
No,
oh
he's a
no,
toddler.
God no. That's basically a man grown.
Isn't Bran like 6?
I thought Bran was
Bran's
8.
He's 8,
Oh,
yeah.
whatever.
Rob stands up and passes all his Bannermen's tests, but then talks to Bran and is like, I thought he was going to kill me.
I love
Yeah.
Rob the Lord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Rob getting scared of Lord Roose, who never says a word, he only looks at him.
God.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, oh, Bolton's flaying their enemies. That's just one of Old Nan's stories, right?
Isn't it?
Old man stories seem to be pretty true. So
George has said that Old Nan is very accurate.
Old Nan knows what's up.
I think he has said that everything she says is true. He has
Oh,
given
man.
that away.
Old
that-
man is a prophet.
Yeah. So Old Nan is a reliable narrator in this story.
Is Mage Mormont
If those two would
Lyanna's mother or grandmother?
The
she
chat,
says
the chat was talking about it.
she had a granddaughter. She would be willing to have him marry, and I was like, oh, is that Lyanna, or like would it be someone younger than Lyanna? That seems unlikely.
Are they even directly in the same? Because like maybe Mage's sister is Lyanna's.
I was gonna say, isn't Mage
Mom.
Lyanna's aunt? I think chat
Oh.
was
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
it.
Well, I just assumed it was her mom because Lyanna says my mother fought for Rob, and that's how she died, and so
That
I
might be
saw
a
that.
show change.
That might be a show change. They might have compressed
forget.
the Mormont family tree.
I just know like Lyanna's Jorah's niece.
Yes.
We're gonna look it up.
I know that.
Let's see. Niece
No,
of-
I don't want Game of Thrones wiki. I want Song of Ice and Fire wiki.
Yeah.
That's the difference. A
Wiki
wiki of Ice and Fire. Yeah.
Oh, she is the daughter of Mage.
She is one of many daughters to Mage, so yeah, she's probably the youngest daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of
So
Mage.
then, whoever the granddaughter is, we don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it's Alisane's daughter.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, see, here we go. Jorah's 2 wives.
Yep.
Oh, yep. And
Unknown Glover. You know what made me sad?
Huh.
Soft-spoken Lord Serwyn had actually brought his daughter with him, a plump, homely maid of 30 years who sat at her father's left hand and never lifted her eyes from her plate.
Yep.
That is so depressing.
Yeah.
She will have one of the most depressing lives. I'm not saying this based on anything in the novels, but just from that description and this world.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're just guessing. Like,
Yeah, she's plump. She's a maid at 30, and she's obviously like introverted or, you know.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat says that
That didn't stop Bolton.
If you're not one, you have a beard, or like if you're born with a beard, and it makes me think of Gressel, because like I picture him as a baby having his beard.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying, Liz?
I don't remember. Oh, you're talking about the plump, homely maid of 30 years, and like not having a good future, but like
Oh yeah, I guess if you're
Bruce
Bolton.
Bolton
Yeah.
married the plump, homely maid.
That's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't Walder Frey also marry one of the
The trick is
homely-
having
I
your
don't
dad
know.
offer your weight in silver.
Yeah.
As a talent.
I like on page 576 when Bran is talking about Lady and Sansa, and she lost her wolf.
Yeah.
And that reminded me that Jon also, his first thought about Sansa was that she lost her wolf.
Yeah.
And the quote, she had gone south and only her bones had returned.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote foreshadowing. Also, Lyanna Stark.
Yeah.
And
Brandon.
Ran.
and Rickon and Ned.
I
Yeah.
wrote it off.
All these Starks should
Yeah.
just not go south.
Yeah. And even Rickon knows that. No one ever comes back.
Yeah, I will say, like, it's super weird to me to have all these characters named Brandon because my brother's name is Brandon. And then also Kat. When I first read the
yeah.
book, I pronounced it Caitlin because my name is Caitlin.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why is my family here?
I like Osha's practicality. Gage lets me have my prayers from time to time when I feel the need, and I let him do as he likes under my skirt when he feels the need. It's nothing to me. Whatever. I like the smell of flour on his hand. And he's gentler than that asshole I was with, so sure.
Yeah.
I like when Bran is praying and he's like, watch over his men, Hal and Quint, and the Lady Umber, or Lord Umber and Lady Mormont, and the other lords. And Theon too, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wrote lol.
Osha telling Bran to open your ears, listen, reminds me of Syrio telling
Oh.
Arya to
Yeah.
open her eyes and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ocean knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
regard to, like, the old gods and the whites.
And it's definitely just
knows.
another instance of Maester Luwin being wrong. There's no more giants. There's no more children of the forest. There's no White Walkers. Is Lucy being a Lucy?
There's like a thread on my foot that she keeps playing with.
I love Osha's description of the whites, and since this comes directly after John's chapter with Othor, I just think that's well played.
Blue eyes and cold black
well played,
hands.
George.
Yeah. And then I also like that as a wildling, she traces her lineage through the mom side.
Oh,
And my
yeah,
mother
that's
and her
cool.
mother before her and her mother before her.
Yeah.
Yeah, wildlings are much more egalitarian than a lot of these southern houses.
Yeah, that's
Except
cool.
for Dornish people, they're cool like that too.
Yeah.
I like Gunnar remarks that Osha is super prophetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we move on to Daenerys? Because it's getting kind of late.
I'm so hungry.
But like the
I
last
wanna
line,
say-
like you said,
Yeah.
Hodor, Bran agreed.
Yeah.
Wondering what it meant. I didn't get the deeper meaning, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny because he's like,
Well,
Hodor?
we didn't know, like,
Hodor.
when this book came out, we wouldn't have known. I like, on page 580, Bran's insistence to, like, learn magic and fly.
Yeah.
Um,
You'll learn some magic.
and then I also like the comparison between Bran the Broken and Robb the Lord.
Ooh, yeah.
I like those names. So Yeah, I'm ready to move.
Crooked Hillary.
To Danny.
The crow promised that I would fly.
Little Marco.
You know what I'm saying?
Corn.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Switch to Danny.
Yes, thank you. Daenerys 6.
Lion Ted. Sorry. It's all
We moved past that.
I don't have.
Chelsea had to get her contribution to that riff in.
I did.
All right.
Lucy hates outros T-shirt.
I'll make T-shirts if people buy them.
Yeah, if people buy t-shirts.
People don't buy the merch that they ask for. So, in this chapter, Daenerys 6, Khal Drogo takes his pleasure, and then
His manhood glistened wetly.
Yep. And then he pieces out to hunt a lion. So she goes to the Western Market and just talks a lot about fucking food and shit.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
The red door?
and the red door
Yeah.
many times. And then the wine seller tries to kill her, and Drogo is like, no, for that I'll go rape people for you.
That's it. That's the chapter.
That's the chapter.
It's pretty damn similar to the
I mean,
show.
it also
Yeah.
opens with marital disagreements.
Oh yeah.
Like, in a nice way.
No, yeah, they're like, they talk like they're on, you know.
And this is not the first time she's brought this up, so it's not like she brought it up, he said no, and she dropped it. Like, as she had told him before, dude, we got to get over there.
Yeah, I like that they're able to like actually talk to each other, and
Yeah.
she's not like afraid to bring stuff like this up. Mm-hmm. It's nice, you know.
Yeah, woman wife.
Yeah.
Woman wife.
I hope Gressel starts calling Erica woman wife.
Woman wife.
So are they speaking in Dothraki to each other at
I think
this point?
so. Because she later laments that she misses
he
hearing
doesn't
Valyrian.
know very much of the common tongue.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I like sort of the question of the concept of home, especially, you know, we have Ned throughout this story talking about wanting to go back north to home, and we have Dany here questioning what is home. So just sort of a thoroughfare of home.
Yeah.
Question mark.
And one of the things that she thinks of as home is the house in Bravos with
The red door.
that red door,
Yeah.
and she thinks about that a lot. And there's a divide in the fandom over whether or not that's important. But
Well, she also thinks like her Khalasar feels the most like home. And
Yeah,
she's like,
that's
this would
fine.
make anyone else happy,
yeah,
you know.
that should be enough for any woman, but not for the dragon. And
Yeah.
it's interesting too that now she's thinking of herself as the dragon after that was something that she feared. She didn't want to wake the dragon before because of shithead Viserys.
I
And-
like here she talks about being the very last, as in the last dragon. And I'm just like, nah, Dany, there's at least 2 other Targs in the world.
Who else besides Jon?
Well, we haven't gotten the reveal yet, but he's blind.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
And Tyrion.
And probably Tyrion, as Chelsea and I believe.
God.
I don't.
I hate
want-
that. I hate
Sorry.
it so
I
much.
don't want it, but it's
Sorry.
so true.
Like, I don't want secret
Why?
Targs.
That's like the whole point of his character.
But it
is,
doesn't
like,
erase
I
it.
honestly, I would prefer if the secret Targs were Cersei and Jaime, and it turns out that Tyrion is the true Lannister, because that would just be a big old middle finger.
I don't
to
want any
Tywin.
more secret Targs. Can we
No,
just
we
have
don't
Bran
need- we
morgue
need
into
at
the
least-
third
we need At
dragon?
least 6 more secret Targs, Liz.
Sansa's a Targ. Lyanna
There's
Mormont's
a
a Targ.
Hey guys, what
Tyrell is a Targ.
what are tree eggs? She's sitting there nibbling.
I was
tree
wondering what
eggs.
that. What's it?
Is that just fruit?
Coconuts?
Oh, maybe
Maybe.
coconut. I thought of like
That could be
pine
anything.
Cone. Like you wouldn't
Pineapples?
Eat a pine cone. That's fucking gross.
I think you could eat pine cones.
Can't-
Like smash. Well, you wouldn't nibble it.
That's gross.
Also,
nasty.
on top of 587, as someone who like studies World of Ice and Fire maps, this is a lot of locations that I do not know. I'm not talking about Asai or Carthage
Yeah,
or GT. I know those, but Baya Sabad, Shamiriana, and Kaya Naya,
Kaya.
and even Jogos Nahai. I don't know these. They might
Yeah.
be on Althos or Sathorios,
Yeah.
which are different continents.
Hot pie is a Targ.
You get a Targ, and you get a Targ, and you get a Targ. Everybody gets a Targ.
I've heard that theory in Mance equals Rhaegar. I've heard that theory.
I've heard that theory also.
So yeah, she talks a lot about the shit at the market, the
It's-
Eastern
I mean,
market,
and
the Western
honey
market.
fingers.
I like the line that Dothraki don't know about
Trade.
selling and buying. I'm like, the Dothraki don't understand capitalism
Yeah, no, everything.
or property.
Everything to them is horses and fields.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the the sea is just described as the plains. But yeah, the gray-green plains of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Like those aren't plains.
It's
that's
water.
The great glass sea.
Yeah.
There is the part
Gunnar
where
says that those are all in Essos, James.
Oh, they are. Oh, like super far.
Probably.
East?
That's crazy.
Okay.
We should pull out the risk map and see if they're.
Oh, they're not up there. It goes beyond that.
this part where Jorah goes away mysteriously, and Dany's like, curious.
Like-
Maybe he just needs a whore.
Joe's being real sketchy here.
Yeah, and then this wine cellar, he plays it smooth, man.
I don't know. He's super pushy as a salesman.
No, but it works because he's like, it's all about like, oh, I gotta respect you as a princess. Oh, you're high honor. Oh, you don't need this wine. I have a better one
something
for
really
you.
special,
I think he plays it pretty cool until Jorah comes over and ruins everything for him. This poor guy just has to get flogged and
What would have happened?
I don't know.
If she got
Because
poisoned.
in the show, she's about to drink it there, and he seems happy, which seems weird because she would probably die and he would be
Does
caught.
he offer her a taste here, or does he tell her to take it home?
He doesn't tell her, but she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take it back and share it with Khal Drogo," and he beams at that. Like that's the best case scenario for him.
Yeah, because he can get away.
Yeah, get away, and he'll take care of both of them, Khal Drogo and
Yeah.
Daenerys. But alas,
man.
it was not to be for this poor wine cellar.
That would have been such an interesting
You just want a lordship.
change.
So do
Yeah.
you think like this is where Jorah decided that he's on her side?
Well, we don't know what that letter from Viserys said, whether it was
Illyrio.
both that. Whether it was like, because I don't know if he ever shows Dany the actual wording, or if
Yeah.
he's just like, here's a letter. But I don't know if Viserys is, or I'm sorry, not Viserys.
I was like, wait,
Varys, I'm
Viserys,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, from the grave. But if Varys is saying, hey, about that assassination, like there's an assassination attempt going on, chill out, stop it. Or no, because Varys wants it to happen, right?
Mm-mm.
He
I don't
does-
think
No,
yeah.
Varys does want the assassination attempt to happen because then it gives Drogo a reason to want to go to Westeros.
Okay.
Oh, but yeah, but he doesn't want it to actually go through.
Right.
Because if Dany
He
is
wants
killed.
it to be stopped.
So this is probably him telling Jorah, hey, this is about to happen.
Yes, make it.
Stop it.
Yeah. They just want to put the fear in Drogo.
But what if he fucked up and Jorah didn't get there in time and then it happened? I don't know. Their plans are always like hard to
Yeah,
nail down.
because I feel like a lot of the time it's just stuff that just kind of happens to fall into place.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
then I'm wondering, is this Captain Bayan Votiris, who I don't remember, like, is he in on it? Because he says it's the wine cellar is one of his. I don't know.
I love, before we move past that page, on 591, you will drink, Dany said, cold as ice.
Yeah.
And
But she's a dragon.
it's so interesting because we're so used to
Ice
Ned
dragon.
being described as ice, and here Dany's the one who's cold as ice.
Yeah. I noticed that
And that's
too.
that's interesting to me.
So do you think the wine cellar was there to poison Dany, or he
Or
just
to attempt.
had something just in case he saw her?
Oh, no.
He was there.
He
for
was
that.
there
He
on
was there to
purpose.
poison her.
Okay.
I just don't know if the plan all along from Varys and Illyrio was for him to fail. If so, sucks for that guy. They're like, hey, go poison her. And then they're like, hey, go stop him. He'll
Yeah.
get fucking murdered by the
No, I
Dothraki.
bet they straight up told this guy, like, hey, you'll get, like, a lordship, like, we're giving you this job, and then they just, like, totally screwed him over.
Yeah, they don't care about
It's
other
for the good of the
people.
realm.
It's
or
for
whatever.
the good of the realm. and then she, I don't care about this dragon egg shit, honestly.
Yeah, I was trying to hatch the dragon eggs. It
Yeah.
wasn't
What I do like is when Drogo comes back
has
with
no
the
effect.
carcass of a lion.
Yeah.
And I think
The
it's
Hrakar.
interesting that it's a lion because Lannisters.
Ooh, that's a white lion.
a white lion, yeah.
White lion. Maybe Jamie with his white Kingsguard
Or
cloak.
Tyrion, because he's a secret Targ. And he would have white hair, like a Lannister with white Targaryen hair.
Oh, nice, Chelsea.
Secret Tar.
Secret Tar.
Wait, also, okay, with the wine cellar, like, he doesn't recognize Dany until they tell him by name. Like, what if he just, like, didn't... What if they had never said her name and he just, like, wasn't able to poison her?
Yeah. And he just goes about his day, I guess.
I feel like he knew.
I don't know.
He didn't know. She
I don't
doesn't
know.
look like herself. She looks like a Dothraki.
But she still has
She's
like,
white with white
and
hair.
purple eyes. Like
She's, like,
dirty.
stands
out.
Oh, she's probably tan by now. You're right.
Probably pretty tan.
Yeah.
And then how do you guys feel about Drogo's romantic pledge to Dany?
yeah.
Such a cool speech, but also I'm uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
just leave
and
out
you're
the
like,
rape.
You're like, oh, wow,
Oh.
Drogo, cool. And he's like, and I'm gonna rape everybody. And you're like, oh, okay, like.
You don't have to do
Yeah,
that.
like we can leave out that.
Dial it back. The killing, sure, but
Yeah.
We'll discuss it.
yeah.
We
Like,
can talk
that's
about
hard
that.
to
This
do,
is
but-
interesting. Top 100 Movie Challenge says Drogo goes on a successful hunt of a white animal, where Robert originally set out to hunt a white hart, but
Yeah.
failed.
Yes, but is this the wound that kills Drogo?
No.
No.
Are you sure?
Positive. Because isn't it
It's
from
in a fight.
Another, yeah, he gets in a fight.
That's
with-
in the show.
Oh, well, then in the
it's-
book,
no,
I have
it's in
no
the book,
idea.
too.
It is for
Yeah,
sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
Because
I
then
couldn't
they get,
remember.
what's her name? Mira Mizazmaz, and
Yeah.
she, like, stitches it up.
Mira
Oh,
Mazazla.
you're right.
Blah, blah.
The difference is who he kills. In the show, it's a guy who is actually more important in the books, the Dothraki that he kills.
Oh.
But I have such a hard time remembering Dothraki names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ono and
I only
Alco.
remember because I was reading that section not too long ago.
Okay. Any other thoughts about this chapter? Or does that sum it up?
I think I'm
Nope,
good.
I got no thoughts on this
All right,
chapter.
let's
It's
do a
not
little-
important.
little
to me.
wrap
my
up.
brain is mush.
I have to pee.
Yeah.
We all have bodily needs to
Yeah,
attend
to
to.
attend.
But before we do that, we'll do a little wrap up. One, thanks
You
for
wanna change
joining
it to
us.
wrap
I
up
did.
slash outro?
It's
Oh,
just
that'll
on a
change.
delay.
Hit that thumbs up for us, because that's
Yeah.
always fun to see.
thumbs it up.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Liz and
Yeah, thank you.
My
Caitlin.
pleasure.
You guys can find them at Soundproof Liz on like everything.
Yep.
And at Going Postal on
Yep.
everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I just typed those in there. You should check them out. Liz has a great channel and was on Drunk Disney Brother Bear where
Classic.
we brought up 9/11. And then someone left a comment. It was like, "I'm watching this on 9/11." I was like, all right. At least it was just one
I
person.
love the
did
scary
it.
bear from the ending.
Yeah, it's really scary. I don't like it.
Make sure you're subscribed if you are not already.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that most of the people in here are subscribers to the channel, but there's also a bunch of links in our description on where to buy the books from Amazon. Same price, but we get a little kickback. Where to get a free trial with Audible, and also get you a free book at this point. Get Clash of Kings, because we're almost there. In fact, if you guys are willing to read like 90 to 100 pages for the next 2 weeks, we can be done with this
I say do
in 2
it.
weeks.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay?
Let's just
'Cause
decide.
I want to get to motherfucking Clash. So, how about we read from, I think it's a Tyrion chapter?
Mikey Mega Mega. I am Caitlin Going Postal. Over here is Liz, Soundproof Liz. We're
Hello.
guests to book club. James and Chelsea are usually here with other James and Joel, but they were both out of town.
Because other James got
Other
married.
James got married.
And Chelsea and I literally landed this morning
It's true.
and still made this happen. So
Yeah.
I hope you'll excuse our technical difficulties.
Oh,
What's
sorry.
up?
I didn't know there was an appendix in that.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, with a family tree and
cool.
or not family tree. It's like a
Like their employees, their
histories.
household.
yeah.
Well, it has like their household members, like their steward and their master of whatever.
So next week we will be reading. We start with
And
Catelyn
the
8,
sigils.
and we'll go to Tyrion 8. So that's easy to remember. And if you have the mass market paperback version, which we're all reading from,
Except me, I'm reading from ebook.
yeah, and Chelsea does the audiobook. But if you have this version, it'll be from page 595 all the way up to 693. Okay? Like I said, that'll be our second last meeting for Game of Thrones, which I'm fucking pumped about.
Yeah, I'm
I cannot
pretty
wait
excited
to get to
for
Clash. Clash gets dark.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
excited.
it's tough.
Yeah.
Or not.
No, that's good.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It'll be stuff that's finally like a lot different.
Yes, as we continue.
Gotcha.
So yeah, if you're reading this and you're like, why am I reading this? It's the same as the fucking show.
Yeah.
Hang in there. It's going to get
There's
real different.
A lot of similarities in this book to the
Yeah,
show.
this book
That's
is,
how I feel.
Yeah, yeah, because you're a first-time reader. So if you're a first-time reader, you talk to Liz as though she were you. Don't worry, not Liz. It
Soon
gets
we'll
way more
get
different.
two entire POV characters that just don't exist
Because
in the show because the books just get too big.
Yeah.
I barreled
Really?
through this book
Wow.
before I finished the first season. So when I went back and watched the first season, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I read.
Oh, and Paige points out that next week we will be discussing our last Ned chapter.
Oh.
That's sad. And
There are Davos chapters?
yeah, that's what we get in Clash. So that's
I
really
love
exciting.
Davos.
Did we ask them if they had any questions?
Oh yeah, real quick. Yeah, where's
Any cues for us to A?
yeah, there you go. That's what I say.
I know, because I watched.
Yeah, Davos is actually our insight into Stannis and his whole going-ons.
Yeah.
Like how Catelyn is our insight into Robb, since he's not a POV character. So
None of the kings are POV characters, right?
yeah, no kings are POVs,
Interesting.
right? At all.
Interesting.
Not
Including,
Robert,
like,
not
Drogo.
Stannis, not Renly.
Yep.
Not Rob. Never Rob?
Oh, we get a ton of Balon Greyjoy chapters. I'm just kidding. That's told through Theon chapters.
Yeah, so
Bad
Ew.
Theon's a POV. Yeah, you gotta get that Iron Island somehow.
Balon just reminds me of
I'd rather get-
Denethor.
I'd rather get
yeah,
his sister POV chapters.
you do.
Very further down the line get those.
Alright.
Here we've got a question on
What's
page
up?
576, where the old kings of winter laid their faithful servants.
Are these all animals? No, I think they're probably
Um,
peoples.
It's probably.
It's where they
their-
bury Lady, as they're talking
I mean,
about.
it might
the
be their
Lichen
animals.
Fields. I'm sure there are maybe animals,
But,
but
yeah,
direwolves
I-
aren't common.
Yeah, I think it's just because the only people who get buried in the crypts are literally like heirs to the Stark. name.
Yeah.
Like
Except for Lyanna and, well, Brandon was an heir, but Lyanna was not. Was buried there.
Well, yeah. I mean, Stark. Yeah.
That's probably where they just lay like their household members when
Right.
they die, like their stewards and their
Yeah.
master of horse and stuff.
No, Monkey Me, Rob, and Stannis do not have chapters at all. No kings.
No kings.
No kings. And Mr. Fire Cowboy, dude, we don't want to drink more.
Les?
We
Let us
don't
be
want to drink
sober,
more.
and we like Game of Thrones sober.
Will we ever go to the Far East? I say probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe a flashback.
I think
from
Melisandre flashback
but-
is also POV.
Oh,
character.
briefly.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Oh, I like the Melisandre POVs.
The what?
The
Melisandre
Melisandre
POVs?
POVs,
Yeah, but
cool.
there's only like a few of them.
Yeah.
Way late, but
I like them.
getting ahead of ourselves. Next week is Catelyn 8 to Tyrion 8. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen.
We'll find out for sure.
Oh, I think I read the last of Tyrion's chapter there, and it's like when Robb wins the Whispering Wood.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
war is breaking out.
Well,
Yeah.
and we know what happens with someone. If it's our last Ned chapter.
Oh, yeah. That
Well,
too.
no, because he just disappears from POV. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't die in his own POV.
No.
That'd be a little hard to write. We see it through Arya's eyes.
Well,
It's just like
someone
the
dies
ink
in
trails off,
Yeah.
like you taking notes, falling
Let's see.
asleep.
Why is Ghost
Yeah.
allowed at the wall? I don't know.
I think we talked about that at one book club, and we just figured, like, why not?
Yeah, they're
He's
so strapped for
useful.
guys.
Yeah, like, all
If
right.
they have a wolf, yeah.
At least
Plus,
one other guy.
I feel like if they told John he couldn't have Ghost, he'd be like, peace. Like,
You just think John's ready to bail at like the drop of a hat.
I mean, like he does later.
Well, that's a pretty big deal, though.
Yeah.
Eric.
What?
Everyone at the wall can bring a cat, a dog, or a toad.
I love
Is
it.
there a storyline that doesn't get resolved in the first book that you want to learn more about?
I feel like
I think stuff gets resolved pretty well.
I don't know. I feel like,
I
mean,
can't
it's-
think of anything.
It's such a overarching story that's hard to say this didn't get resolved. Because I mean, like, we could say that Dany going to Westeros still isn't resolved.
Yeah, I would like to see that be resolved.
Yeah,
Please.
please, George.
Ghost is not allowed any pups or to bark any trees when he joins the law. He will father no pups.
I shall chew no toys.
Thank you, Mikey
Wow.
Mega. Who has a verified account? What, Mikey?
That's cool, Mikey.
Yeah, what are you doing that's so verified?
Favorite chapter this week?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, favorite chapter this
Not
week.
Danny.
Oh wow, whoa, we're getting watched by a guy with 50,000 subscribers.
Yo, how'd you
Thanks,
get that?
Mikey.
I have that, and I'm not verified.
Yeah, ooh, Mikey.
I thought you had to be over 100,000 subs.
Anyway.
We're gonna
favorite-
talk, Mikey.
Favorite chapter of the week?
I like the brand one.
I think I was into John's chapters.
Oh, okay. The Sansa one is cool too because it's just like her being.
I like Arya.
Yeah.
I like Arya and John.
Oh, I kind of like the Arya chapter too, because Syria.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Syria.
And
I
she
like-
kills a guy.
She kills a guy.
I like all the talk of the crypts and the dreams, which are all Stark chapters.
Nah, no one said Ned. So basically any chapter besides Ned and Danny.
You don't like when Littlefinger puts a knife to Ned's throat?
Yeah.
No, I like the previous chapter where Littlefinger just monologues a lot and japes.
The Ned and the Sansa are just frustrating to me.
I like Sansa's chapter.
All right, guys, I'm gonna call this quits. 'Cause,
Yep.
God, am
I
I
think it's
hungry.
time to go.
It's nap time.
I'm hungry.
Thank
been
you
a long
for
weekend.
joining us. We'll be here again next week. I won't be
Yes.
hungover. We'll be in the state. Everything will be good. I think Gressel and Joel will be
Yeah.
back. We're gonna kick these two ladies out of here.
We'll be in chat.
They'll be in the
Probably.
chat, hopefully,
Yeah,
because we
probably.
love their contributions. But until then, I'm James,
Chelsea.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Lizzie.
and this is
Books.
What's in
Book
these
club.
books?
Game of Thrones book clubs. What's in that?
Yep.
Words.
Bye, guys.
Bye.